Welcome to another live stream. Hi! How is everyone doing? Tonight we're gonna have a really explosive topic. OM system has just announced the OM-5 Mark II. I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of things to say. And yeah, but before we dive too far, just want to make sure, again, as usual, the video feed is fine. You can hear the audio. Well, last week we had an accident. Something happened to the microphone. I was cut off for a while. Everyone was complaining, Robin, bad audio. Robin, it's the end of the world. Robin, your microphone doesn't work. Robin, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, as usual, just want to make sure everything's working fine. The audio is okay. Video is okay. Let me get some coffee. Coffee first, always. I see that we got some feedback already. Thank you so much, Jari Hikari. I will say hi to members first. So if you're a member, your name will be highlighted in green, and then there's a star badge next to your name. But I will get to every single chat. I never miss anyone, all right? So just be a little bit patient with me. Okay, Kanchem says, making another OMD is easy. Just take the previous design and brush with the new paint. But technically, it's not an OMD, is it? It is OM5. They have dropped the OMD. Do you realize that? But making another pen is another story. And I don't think they were making another pen anyway. PetaPixel or some other sites, was it DP Review? They had an interview with the OM Digital Solutions representatives, and they were saying that we have no plans with the Olympus pen. And if we were to do an Olympus pen this year, we don't know what we are doing. Basically, that's the official answer. John, hey John, how are you? John says, good day, Robin. Good day to you too. Nice to see you again, John. How have you been? I guess you've been busy, hey. John says, I'm gonna guess the light box is gonna be Maggie Goreng. Good guess, John, good guess. And I guess I should be having Maggie Goreng for breakfast tomorrow. I'm traveling. I'll talk about what's happening in the weekend, and I need to have some breakfast tomorrow, most likely at the Mama, and I think I'll order Maggie Goreng. For you, John, for you, Maggie Goreng. Chris says, hey Robin and all. Hey Chris, how are you? Chris says, sounds and vision okay from Isle of Wight, UK. Thank you so much, Chris. Appreciate that. Let me get to the non-members chat. Chris Robin says, hello from Orlando. Hey, how are you? Nice to see you again. Hey Wolfie, very, very nice to see you. Thanks for joining, Wolfie. Wolfie says, hey Robin, it's lovely to catch you live. I hope you're having a good week and lots of photography done. There is something happening this week. I can't say. There's a secret project, but and I can't wait to share with you guys. I can share it later. Now it's still secret. And I'm really, really excited about this project. Something is happening. And if everything goes according to plan, I'll be able to talk about it in a few weeks. So stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned. There is something very exciting. Estrom says, hello from Iceland. Hey, Estrom, how are you? Ritby! Hey! Raja Putra says, expensive for a lot of air? I never thought about it. Hey, I just like the sweetness of it, the sponginess of Kueh Bahulu. And Andrew says, Salam Sejata Robin, let's do this. Hey Andrew, nice to see you. And yes, let's do this. Let's get to the non-members chat. Wolfie says, hey to fellow Robinist and Microfotos photographers. I honestly don't know how to feel about the word Robinist. It sounds a little bit weird, Skoda says, why all the hate? Hate? Was there any hate? People latch on the narratives of consumer goods to feel they are part of the conversation. The new OM looks fine. They did the same to the G100. Then 1 year after, let me see if you have any continuation to that chat. I don't see anything from Squared after this. After a year and praised it, no. I think pretty much, I still think the G100 is a horrible product. I think it's a missed opportunity. They could have put two very important features in the camera, which is the 5-axis image stabilization and face detection autofocus. With those two features, it would have been a fantastic product. The problem with G100 is that it was specifically marketed or advertised as a vlogging camera. As a vlogging camera, I'm expecting the autofocus to find my face. If I'm a solo creator, I want to just plonk the camera on a tripod, hit the record button and not worry about anything, right? Without the face detection autofocus, it's just useless. And without image stabilization, come on, I don't want to carry a gimbal. I just want to walk around with the camera and just run and gun, right? And the 5-axis image stabilization, it's not like they don't have them. They already implemented it in G9, GH6, GH7. So with the 5-axis image stabilization and face detect autofocus, they could have sold the camera a little bit more expensive, and people would have thought that, hey, that's a really great camera. I still think it's a horrible camera. And you were saying why all the hate? Like, I don't see any hate in the previous messages. No one has been saying anything bad about the OM5 Mark II, honestly. I don't know where this is coming from. Carl says, greetings from sunny Germany. Hey Carl, how are you? Nice to see you here. Jeff says, hi from a beautiful sunny warm afternoon in Horsham, Southeast England. Wow, it's warm there. Interesting. Nice to see you again, Jeff. Hey Kevin, how are you? Kevin says, good evening Robin, I managed to stay awake. Kevin, we just had coffee yesterday? Was it? Oh, 2 days ago. It was Tuesday. Kevin is in Kuala Lumpur at the moment, visiting. He was at the Dive Expo last week, and we had a chance to catch up for coffee. And it was so generous of Kevin to gift me a coffee making something. I haven't had a chance to make the coffee yet. He gave me some beans as well, with the grinder and everything, the whole process. I've been busy these few days. I'm traveling again tomorrow. I'll talk about that a little bit later. So thank you so much for the gift, Kevin. Of course, once I made the coffee, I've gone through the whole process. I will talk about it during the coming live streams. I don't know which one, but I will explore it. But yeah, now I'm still drinking my Nescafe. All right. Let's see if in members chat we have. John says, Robin's secret project is adopting a baby photographer and mold him and her as a micro photos photographer. You made me sound like I'm so evil, John. Like, man. Kanchem says, thanks to the XE5, the OM5 Mark II looks affordable. Yes. Now, anything after Fuji's ridiculously priced hikes, right, or all the recent products that they come up with, anything after that seems reasonable, right? Yeah. It's crazy. Robert says, hello from Hungary. Hey Robert, how are you? Wolfie says, as for the OM5 Mark II, I'm utterly disappointed and heartbroken how little effort OM Digital Solutions has put in for a camera launch in 2025. I have to agree with that. I thought we will get a little bit more out of it. But yeah, I'll share my thoughts a little bit later. But guys, keep sharing your comments, your thoughts about the camera. Yeah, keep it going. Vapagamuka, hey, how are you? Vapagamuka says, good evening, Robin. Let's do this. Yes, let's do this. Joe says, cheers from Atlanta. Hey, Joe, how are you? Jerry, thanks for the update. Audio and video okay. Posech says, hi Robin, hi, how are you? Jeff says, oh good, thank you so much for the update. Car says, I appreciate new products to keep the light alive. Former Olympus, EM1 Mark I, I guess, owner. Chris Raven says, another plastic camera. Everything we did want from this camera. Okay. Joe says, price went back up on black and silver versions. Really? The black and silver is more expensive than the beige? Well, in Malaysia, all the prices are the same. Beige, black, silver, they're all the same. Lip Gloss Eater. Every time I read your handles, I just have to chuckle. Lip Gloss Eater says, good evening, Robin. Good evening, Lip Gloss Eater. Audio and video looks good. Thank you so much for the update. Appreciate that. I'll read a few more chats, say hi, and then we'll start with some updates of what's happening in my life. Wolfie says, same sensor from 9 years ago, same It's-Running viewfinder back screen from 6 years ago, same processor from 5 years ago, some batteries since dinosaurs, and not even close life and the strength to OM1 and OM3 at all. Yeah, I think in terms of specifications, it does clearly sit below OM1 and OM3 range. I think it's very clear to see that the OM5 now is like the entry level of the OM systems camera lineups. They have OM1, the flagship, OM3, which is like the mid-tier, and OM5. I'm not even sure if there'll be an OM10 in the future. Maybe they just think that, okay, we don't want too many cameras, so we just scrap OM10 and the OM5 is the new EM10 replacement. We have a new super chat. Thank you so much. Thanks, Car. Appreciate that. Thank you for your work of your 4 years. Thanks for the support. Really appreciate that. All right. Okay. We have members. Let's go to members first. Dan, the guitar man, says Olympus used legacy cameras are their own competition. Why get an OM5 Mark II when you can still get an EM1 Mark II for so much less? Until they beat the EM1 Mark II, people like myself will stay put. But then again, the OM5 Mark II, or I think the previous iteration was the EM5 series, is designed very differently from the EM1 series camera or the OM1 now. The EM1 Mark II was the flagship of Olympus cameras. Like the OM1 now, it has the best of the best. It has the most powerful processor, latest specifications. It is the most capable in terms of computational photography, the speed, 120 frames per second. It has dual cut slots, robustly built, weather sealed and everything, right? It has the best image stabilization, best autofocus, everything the best, right? But when you look at the OM5, the EM5 series, it's meant to be something different. It's meant to be smaller, lighter, easier to carry around with, and it may not have all the big features from the flagship, but it retains enough of the important features to make it still competitive and is still very capable in a lot of scenarios. That's the way I see it. If you prefer something smaller, if you want to use the camera for vlogging, for example, if you want something not as big, like I understand OM1, EM1 Mark II is even bigger than some of the full-frame mirrorless today. So if you prefer something smaller and lighter, the OM5 Mark II is the solution for you. I can see a market for that. Not everyone wants the EM1 series. And the fact that they have the sand beige color scheme, I don't know how you feel about that. I have a poll now. Up there, you can check out the poll and vote. Let's see how many people have voted. We have 130 votes now. Yeah, and a lot of people are saying that, yeah, they love it. So, oh, let me see. I hope everything is okay. The stream is fine. Are you guys? Is there any stutter in the stream? Let me just refresh. Just make sure everything is okay. I hope the stream is not stuttering. Let me check. CPU is okay. Frame rate is okay. Everything is okay, right? I hope everything is okay. Okay, let me say hi to just a few more members and we'll dive into today's topic. Andrew says, well, the sand beige color is nice and unique, but I'll just put a full stop on that. That was the only thing that was exciting. You like the new color, hey, Andrew. Andrew says, OM5 Mark II is more of an evolution than revolution. I don't think it's even an evolution. There is nothing much new in the camera, right? It's pretty much 97% the same as the OM5 Mark I. Okay, I will pause on the chat here. Don't worry, I'll get to every single chat, but I just want to get the stream rolling. And yeah, and I want to start giving updates. Okay, updates. On Monday, as usual, I launched a new video. This was a very interesting video for myself, at least. It is the mistakes that street photographers do, or common street photography mistakes. I like doing videos like this because I get to share my experience, and over years and years of doing street photography, I have done a lot of observation and I've even made some mistakes myself. And I want to share these mistakes or tips and tricks on how to avoid them or improve your street photography. And I think that videos like this are more important, they are more meaningful and useful than just videos talking about gear or how sharp this lens is or how much better that 100 megapixel sensor is, or like cameras and lens reviews, right? As much as I enjoy doing cameras and lens reviews, I admit that I want my channel to be more photography centric, and I do want to make videos talking more about photography, how to improve your craft, and how to take better pictures. That's one of the effort that I put in my latest video. But at the same time, the video was not performing well. It was like, if you are familiar with YouTube, or if you are a creator yourself, you know the ranking of the performance. The latest video is like 10 out of 10, meaning that in the recent 10 videos, it is ranked at the bottom. It is currently sitting right at the bottom of all the other videos. It's doing so bad, and it's kind of sad because like, I want to share about photography, but people generally don't care. People just want to see, oh, okay, this lens is better. Oh, this camera is good. oh, this lens is sharper, or this lens has better bokeh, or tips on how to get better low light performance, how to maximize what I can get out of the camera, how do I use the camera, what's the best settings. That's all people care about. Like when I talk about composition, lighting, like encourage people to shoot more or see things differently, or how to improve yourself as a photographer, as like how to take better pictures, right? It seems like that's not a popular topic. It saddens me because I feel that as a photographer, I want to help people to improve their photography, not just buy new cameras and lenses. And I don't want to send the wrong message, but it's kind of sad to see that the video is not performing well. I will still continue to make these videos because I feel that it's important, and I don't want my channel to be purely about cameras and lenses only, right? Which lens is the sharpest, or why I love using this camera, or why Nikon or Canon or Sony should do this and that. I don't want my channel to turn into just a very technical, gear-oriented channel. I want my channel to be a photography channel. So from time to time, I'll still talk about photography, whether you guys like it or not. It is my channel. I get to do what I want. So anyway, that's on Monday. Check it out if you have not done so. This week, like I said, I have a secret project. I've been busy with that. I can't talk about it now, so I'll just give you guys a little bit of teaser. Yes, this project is about photography, and I am involved in this project, and we are about to launch this project soon. Everything is falling in place nicely. If everything goes well, I will be able to talk about this in a few weeks. So stay tuned for the announcement. So I've been busy with that, running around, meeting people, doing some things related to the project, which I can't talk about. So yeah, enough about that. Of course, the OM-5 Mark II was launched on Tuesday. We'll talk about that very, very soon. Tomorrow, I will be going to Fraser's Hill for the bird race. There is this international event happening in Fraser's Hill in Pahang. It's about 2 hours drive from Kuala Lumpur, and I'll be tagging along YL Camera and the OM System Malaysia's team to this particular event. I'll be spending 3 days there tomorrow, and I'll come back on Sunday. So I don't know what will happen there. I don't know what to expect. Obviously, the OM System people and the YL Camera, they are working there, and I'm just tagging along. I expect to be able to get some bird photographs because it's a bird event. Maybe I'll have time to do some macro photography. Fraser's Hill is known to have some interesting bugs and spiders, so I do intend to shoot some macro. I've already packed my macro gear. Hopefully I can borrow some long lenses from OM System. I have a 75-300. I'll have to see if the lenses are used by other people. Of course, priority goes to the customers, OM System and Olympus customers who go to the event, and OM System is there to help them, right? These customers will get priority over me. I don't want to be the one hogging gear while everyone else can't use it. So if I get a chance to use some of the newer lenses, say 150 to 600, or even 100 to 400 Mark II, they will be fantastic to shoot some birds. I expect to get some bird shots over the weekend. Hopefully I get some bird shots. But in any case, I really look forward to this trip because it's been so hot in Kuala Lumpur. We have a heat wave in the past few weeks, and I've checked the weather in Fraser's Hill. During the daytime, it was about lower 20 degrees Celsius temperature. At nighttime, it comes down to 16 degrees. It's even colder than Genting Highlands. So I really, really can't wait to escape this heat, go somewhere cooler, and just for the few days, just to chill, hang out with the OM System team. And I don't know if they have the OM5 Mark II yet. I did not ask. So I don't want to be the guy who will just keep testing people. Hey, do you have the OM5 Mark II? No, I don't want to be that kind of person. All I want to do is just go there, be present, show up, show my face, make myself available, and contribute. If they need my help in anything, I will help. The industry is very small. Camera industry is very small. All the brands will be there. If you look at the listing on the poster, Sony, Nikon, Canon, Fuji, Sigma, Lumix, everyone will be there. Tamron, all the big players will be there. OM System will be there as well. So I just want to be there as a friend to the industry. As you know, I do have quite a presence on the online online space, so I do want to go there, do whatever I can to help these people out, and like to meet some friendly faces and say, hey, you know what? If they need my help in any photography or use a camera or any settings, I'll do my best to contribute whatever way that I can. So that's why I'm there. Other than that, maybe get some opportunity to get some bird photos and things that I don't normally get here in the city in Kuala Lumpur. So I'll disappear from Friday to Sunday. If everything goes well, next week you'll see some unusual photographs in next week's live stream. Maybe some bird photos and maybe some macro photos. Who knows? I'll share them next week, right? Or maybe I get to play with the OM-5 Mark II and you'll see a new video on Monday of me talking about the OM-5 Mark II. Who knows? Anything can happen. I don't want to impose. I don't want to cause any trouble. I don't want to make demands. I rarely ask anything for myself. If they have it, if nobody is using the camera, of course, I'll take it with me and I'll do something with it. Maybe I'll make a video on the spot at Fraser's Hill, just to share my experience and opinion, first impression, hands-on on the OM5 Mark II. All right, so that's the bird race. And the local OM system ambassador in Malaysia, Richard Chong, as seen in the tiny photograph in this poster, he'll be the judge, one of the judges for the Fraser's Hill International Bird Race. So he'll be there as well. He's an amazing friend, amazing bird photographer, amazing OM system ambassador, just a lovely person overall. So I can't wait to catch up with him as well. Tomorrow I'll be going up with him, and yeah, so that's pretty much this weekend for me. I'll be gone from Kuala Lumpur for 3 days, for the next 3 days. Yeah, I think that's it for the updates, right? Is there anything else? I think before we go into the topic, let me just remind everyone that I have an adult membership on this channel. So with just the price of a cup of coffee, you can support me and you get some really cool perks in return. You get to see my video 24 hours before everyone else. We also have members only live streams, a private live streams once a month, where you can come in and have more intimate interactions with me. Of course, if you are a member, I will prioritize my responses to your comments first. Whether it's my new or old video, I will reply to you first. Also, if you come to this chat on live streams, I'll prioritize your chats first before everyone else. I have also taken down some older videos that were not performing well. These videos include tips and tricks on composition, black and white photography, how to get sharp images doing macro, a lot of POV street shooting. And because these videos are not doing well, they may affect the algorithm, and I don't want that to happen. I want YouTube to continue to push my new videos to a wider audience, and it has helped. After I've taken down a lot of videos, actually quite recently, my past 10 videos have been doing pretty well. If you can check the video performance, the views of my recent 10 videos. So I have to continue to do so. If the video is not doing well, I will have to take them down. It's just a matter of playing the game. But if you want full access to some of these videos, you can join as a member. You have access to them, right? So it's pretty easy. It's not expensive, right? It's just a small way to support me. If you don't want to join as a member, there are other ways to support me. You can buy me a cup of coffee using this link, or you can contribute directly to my PayPal, or you can buy from my affiliate links from Amazon and B&H. All the links in the description below. So any support will go a long way, will definitely help me, will motivate me to go out, to shoot more, share more, and do more for you guys here in this channel. For those of you who have contributed, whether it's on the super chat or from PayPal, or if you're a member, or if you have bought me coffee before, if you bought from my affiliate links, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate your support, your generosity. It's enabled me to do a lot more on this channel, and I will continue to produce content and share as much as I can with everyone. All right, having said that, let me drink coffee first, and then we'll talk about the OM5 Mark II. Hot topic tonight. Let me straighten my posture, adjust the microphone. Okay, where were we? So on Tuesday, I like that. Before I talk about this, there's something else I want to talk about, which is very important. But since I've already shown the screen, let's just talk about the OM5 Mark II was launched on Tuesday. I like that OM Digital Solutions kept to the same launch timing as Olympus. For the longest time, since I worked for Olympus more than 10 years ago, they have always launched new products on a Tuesday. It's always a Tuesday, at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, usually 2 o'clock Malaysian time. Right, I don't know what time it is in the US, but it's always 2 o'clock Malaysian time. It's always a Tuesday. Any product, whether it's a lens or camera, it's always a Tuesday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's always been so consistent, it's so predictable, and it's so nice to see that even the OM5 Mark II still follows the same format. So anyway, before I talk about the OM5 Mark II, there's something that I want to touch on because a lot of people have complained about this, so I just want to clarify this first, all right? So, when OM5 Mark II was launched, there were a few videos that was being published, and one of them obviously was on PetaPixel. The video review of the OM5 Mark II was made by Chris Nichols and Jordan Drake. We love them, and I think that they are some of the best camera reviewers out there, possibly the best at the moment. I definitely use them as reference. I've been following them since the days in, was it the camera store from Canada? And then they moved to DP Review, and now they're with PetaPixel. So I really love Chris and Jordan, and I hold them to the highest standards, right? So as you can see from this comment, I spotted a tiny mistake that Chris did. It's not a big deal. It's a minor mistake. He mentioned that OM5 Mark II uses a slow UHS 1 SD card slot, which was a mistake because Olympus has used UHS 2 fast card slots since EM5 Mark II in 2014, which I put in this comment. So I thought, okay, it would be nice to just highlight this in a comment in a nice way. I was very careful in writing this comment. I did not include any negative remarks. Like, you know, sometimes people will be like, emotional, right? They'll say, oh, you shouldn't be making this mistake. You should have double checked your facts. Get your facts right. Like, why are you making this mistake? This is so sloppy. You guys shouldn't be, you know, like those really horrible remarks. People just judge you and they have this condescending tone and they'll have like very insulting, offensive way of putting the words, you know, like you guys are doing a horrible job, you know, blah, blah, blah. So I try my best to remove all these emotions from the comment and just go straight to the point. Correction at this part of the video. This is what should be corrected. And then I even put at the end, hey, excellent review, guys. I'm genuinely a fan. So I said, excellent reviews, guys. Keep it up. So I posted the comment. You know what? The comment disappeared. I was like, wait a minute. I just posted a comment on YouTube. Why is my comment not there? And you see, like a lot of things was running in my mind, right? The comment just disappeared, and then I made another comment. It disappeared again. So I checked with multiple accounts because I have a few YouTube accounts. I have a second account for vlogging. I think if you guys have followed me from years ago, I have another account for vlogs, non-photography stuff. So I switched to that account. I couldn't see the comment that I made. So I went on my smartphone. I checked on my smartphone. I couldn't see the comment as well. And I checked with my friends, asked them to log into the YouTube of the PetaPixel's video of the review of the OM5 Mark II and see if they can find my comment. And they all told me, I have 3 friends who told me they did not see my comment. So either, you know, there are a few things that happened, right? But the first thing that was quite glaring, which I think a lot of people will assume immediately, is that, hey, they don't like people correcting them and they removed the comment. So that was like, I mean, I'm human, right? So I can't shake that. Sometimes these thoughts just come into the mind and it is there. But then again, I stopped myself from doing anything rash. I told myself, okay, this is PetaPixel. They've been around for so long. And Chris and Jordan, they are trusted, right? I don't think they have time to go through all the comments and delete one by one. So I think it could have been a mistake or it could have been a glitch in the system. So what I said was, okay, just wait for one day and see what happens. If the comments don't come back in one day, then I may shoot them an email and ask what happened. Because I do have prior relationships with PetaPixel before. I have multiple articles published on PetaPixel. You can go to PetaPixel and just search Robin Wong. I've had an article there for more than 10 years ago. And they have asked me permission to reuse my articles many times. I am a blogger, right? I have a blog. And the boss, Jaren Snyder, I mean, I've had email conversations with them. So I thought we were in a good place. We were in a good relationship, right? Like, what happened? Why do you guys, you know, the mind's like, why do you guys delete my comment? Or why do you guys, or shadow ban me, right? Which is even worse. So anyway, false alarm. Nothing bad happened. So a few hours later, I checked and the comment is there. 2 of my comments is there. So I thought it's a redundant comment, so I deleted one and left one there. As you can see on this screen, my comment is there. And not only that, 2 hours after I've posted this comment, you can't really see the timestamp from here. PetaPixel actually made a correction and they apologized for the mistake. They own up for the mistake. Now this is the PetaPixel, or this is the Chris and Jordan that I know. They admitted the mistake and they posted the correction and they apologized for it, right? So all is good. All good. So why am I saying this? Why am I sharing this here? Why am I taking so much chunk of your time here? It's because a lot of people say, Robin, I commented something on your YouTube. You deleted my comment. And I was like, what the... who are you? What did you comment? Where? When? Say, yeah, this morning, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, it's happened more than once. It's like, wow. And I'm sure if you look through the internet, right, people say, wow, Robin censors comments. He deletes the comments that he doesn't like. You cannot say anything bad about Robin. You disagree with him, he will ban you. And I'm like, at first I don't understand, like, wow, I honestly did not do anything that drastic. There are some people that I've banned, usually racist comments. There are people, some very, very racist people say that, Robin, where are your eyes? Robin, like, your eyes is like F22. I mean, those really racist remarks, I'll just ban them altogether. I don't care, right? And there are some really horrible people with whatever reasons, they're just trolling. That's fine. But like, if you disagree with me, and if generally your comment is constructive, you just voice a disagreement. I mean, why would I ban you? Why would I delete your comment, right? So now I understand. The comments will disappear for hours. Hours! And it can cause panic, because imagine if you spend a lot of time typing an angry comment. I understand some people disagree with me with passion. They spend like 30 minutes typing a comment, they post it and it disappears. Immediately they assume that, Robin, you delete my comment because you disagree with me. I mean, like, no, guys, calm down. Sometimes it's just YouTube. Sometimes your comment disappears for a lot of other reasons. It is not because the creator deleted your comment. Just want to put this out there. If your comments disappear, there might be a few reasons. One of them is if you post a link, YouTube will take it down because that's a possible link to scam sites, and I have had my audience being scammed before. They lost their money, and I don't want that to happen. So if you post a link, your comment will be immediately deleted. It's filtered. I did not delete it. It's YouTube filtering these comments out. There are other reasons, like there are certain trigger words, like if you have a foul language or some really harsh words, which is not following the community guideline, YouTube will also filter them out. Or some really, like things that are not appropriate, right? Things that are not friendly or family friendly, of course, that will be filtered out. Other than that, if you just disagree with me, I don't have time to delete anything. In fact, I don't know if you guys realize this, I don't reply immediately anymore, except if you are a member. If you're a member, I'll reply to your comments immediately. If you're not a member, I'll reply 1 or 2 days later. Usually it's 2 days later. I'll only look at the comments 1 or 2 days later. I don't even care. I don't have time to look at each comment that comes in and delete it. No. Same with PetaPixel, same with any large sites. We receive hundreds and hundreds of comments. PetaPixel maybe thousands. They don't have time to delete your comments, right? So just want to put it out here. All right, let's get to the interesting chat. Let me drink some coffee. I know this went on a little bit longer than I wanted, but I want to get the message out, and I think it's very, very important. I did not delete any comments. Let me just check the comment, make sure everything is okay. Okay. Right. OM-5 Mark II. So here are my thoughts. Let's start with the good stuff. I am very happy that OM Digital Solutions has another camera this year besides OM3, because we all thought that OM3 was the only camera, and if that's the only camera that they have this year, I think there'll be a problem. They need another camera and maybe another product after this, maybe a lens, which we all know the long lens is coming, right? Maybe a 50 to 200 f2.8 or something is coming later this year. So they need multiple products to keep the hype or the attention going, right? So I'm glad that there's a new product, and I'm glad that they launch it now. It's a good time. I'm glad that it's getting a lot of attention and buzz around the photography community. Whether you like it or hate it doesn't really matter. It's getting a lot of attention to the brand, and it's getting this new product, which I think a lot of people will buy. Whether you like it or not, I think this OM5 Mark II will generate quite a lot of sales. Now that's a positive note, right? I also like that they actually took a very daring move, a very bold move, to come up with a really, really unusual color, which is the sand beige. You would think that people stay with like titanium, charcoal, black, silver, right? Like the very safe colors, or even white, like very safe colors. And suddenly they surprised us with sand beige. I think it's gotten a lot of different comments, mixed reviews online. You can see even the poll. The current I have 238 votes. Only 51% of the votes said they liked the color. 37% says meh, meaning that nah, don't really like it, but don't hate it, right? It's just that yeah, it's okay, but I don't hate it. And 12%, I hate it with passion, right? So only 51% like it, but doesn't really matter whether you like it or not. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, there's silver and black, right? It's not like that's the only color that you have. You have choices, right? It's not like OM system only launched OM5 Mark II with just sand beige. If you don't like the color, don't get the color, right? But there are people, 51% of the people who really love the color. So if you love it, I think it's something very interesting, something very different. No other camera has this color, right? Sony, Canon, Nikon, none of them. Fuji, even Fuji doesn't have this sand beige. And I think it's very unique. Doing something different is not necessarily a bad thing. So I applaud OM Digital Solutions in exploring this bold design choice, unusual and questionable design choice, making the camera sand beige. I also like that finally they listened to a few things that the customers or the feedback that the customers have been giving over the past years from OM5 Mark III and the OM5. The few feedbacks that they've made changes in the latest OM5 Mark II. The updates include USB-C. Finally, we are not stuck with micro USB anymore. I think this is more on the compliance issue side of things. They are making this more compliant with the rules and regulations so they can continue to sell the cameras in certain parts of the world. But USB-C is definitely, it's not just being compliant, right? For me, it's just so much more convenient. I just carry one charger cable and I can charge everything. I can charge my phone, my camera, I can charge my computer, I can charge everything, right? If it's just a USB cable. So it's for convenience. Not only that, finally, they have reworked the menu to be more consistent with the latest OM system products. So OM1, OM Mark II, and OM3, they have a new menu layout, menu design, which is a lot more user-friendly compared to the older ones from Olympus era. So now the OM5 Mark II, they have the new menu layout, which is more consistent with the new cameras, the older OM cameras now, if you can minus the first OM5. So all the cameras now have the similar menu system, which is so much easier if you want to tell someone, hey, or if you're already using an OM1 and you want to get an OM5 as a second camera, it's just so much easier to navigate if both cameras have the same menu system or the menu structure and layout. Now, I'm also appreciative that the OM5, it did not remove a lot of important features, unlike the some newer cameras from, okay, I'm just gonna be frank. For example, Fuji X-Half, right? It's just removing like a lot of features, like making the sensor smaller. You can't shoot RAW with it. Put in like a horrible viewfinder. Put in a horrible LCD screen. No, what you call that? Image stabilization. You use a really cheap plastic lens, and then the camera is all like a plastic toy. I mean, at least OM system did not remove anything on this camera. You still have a fully capable micro four thirds image sensor with powerful image stabilization, with full weather sealing, which is IP rated. The camera itself, in terms of operations, in terms of features, everything, they did not remove much from the previous OM5 or previous iterations of the camera. Pretty much what you expect from the current OM system camera. What makes it special? Think about OM system. What makes OM system camera special? What makes Olympus First camera special? It's small, it's light, and yet it's capable. It's weather sealed. All right, you can change lens. You can use all the amazing Micro Four Thirds lenses. It has amazing 5-axis image stabilization. It has some really cool computational features like handheld higher shot. It has live composite, focus stacking. All these features are still available in the camera. So what makes the camera special? What makes it really unique? The core strengths of a Micro Four Thirds camera is all still inside the new OM-5 Mark II. And finally, I'm also really happy to see that they did not bump up the price too much. I know now at the launch it's still quite high at about $1,200 if I'm not mistaken. They did not go crazy with the price. Here in Malaysia, that's the price. I thought the price is quite reasonable, especially now in the year 2025. Nothing is cheap anymore. You can't expect the camera's price to go down, but it didn't go ridiculously high. But I think the price is quite justified for what the camera can do. All right, so those are the positive things that I have to say about the OM-5 Mark II. It ends there. There are a few things that I don't like about it. Let me start. Number one, they remove the compatibility of the FL-LM3 flash. You know the tiny flash? I don't have it here. Let me go and get the tiny flash. Be right back. I'll go and get the flash. Okay, I'm here. Let me just sit down and get back to the camera. This flash, this thing, you know, this thing is so cool because you can swivel the head around, you can bounce the flash, and it draws power directly from the camera. You don't need an external power source. It's quite powerful by itself. And this thing, FL-LM3, is weather sealed. You can shoot in the rain, no problem. It's freeze-proof, dust-proof, splash-proof. And you can use this as a commander, a wireless commander to trigger wireless flash. And I know that this may not be like the deal breaker for a lot of people. This may not be a big issue. A lot of people may not even miss this because not many people use flash. But you know that I do inside macro, right? And my inside macro technique is I need to use an off-camera flash. And the only way for me to trigger that, or the way that I used to trigger that, is to use this FL-OM3 because it's so convenient. I can bounce the head around and I can just trigger my wireless flash. And I'm just so disappointed that they removed this from the OM-5 Mark II. Like, I can understand if they said, okay, we don't want to make this anymore. We have discontinued this. Moving forward, no more FL-OM3. But then again, OM1, OM1 Mark II, and OM3 can use this flash. OM3, which was just launched a few months ago, can use this flash. The original OM5 can use this flash. The EM5 Mark III can use this flash. Then why is the new OM5 Mark II not compatible with this flash? Why? Anyway, again, it's not a deal breaker for a lot of people. I understand. So yeah, that's the first complaint. My other complaints, again, they are not deal breakers. I know this is a similar thing that a lot of people are saying. This is basically a rebatch from OM5 and the EM5 Mark III. Technically the same image processor, the same image sensor. Maybe not the same image processor. Same image sensor, sorry, that was my mistake. Same image sensor, meaning that you get same image quality, same resolution, dynamic range, high ISO. You get basically the same features, only 30 frames per second burst in terms of a lot of like the handheld higher shot, the other features like focus stacking and everything. There's no changes. Even the 5-axis image stabilization, it wasn't really improved, or if this improved, it's not improved that much. It's still using the same LCD screen, still using the same electronic viewfinder panel. So overall, even the body, the camera body itself, like, it's still plastic. A lot of people prefer metal, but to me, again, I said that I have no problem with plastic because as a civil engineer, I work in construction sites. I used to wear plastic safety helmets. We never complain about our helmets, safety helmets being plastic. I never requested my helmets to be made with metal, right? Or steel-made helmets. That's ridiculous. So If I'm okay having plastic protecting my head in a construction site, I'm okay using a camera that's made with plastic. That's fine with me. Now, having said that, a lot of people prefer it to be metal, so they should have listened to customer feedback. Now, how do I feel about this? Obviously, this is in my complaint list. It's not in the good list. I feel that they could have done a little bit more. They could have added a few more things, like improve the autofocus, put in subject detection, the AI detection. I'm sure they can do that. The fact that they don't have that is sort of like, I don't know, it just doesn't sit well with me, because at least they put in like bird detection or human AI face detect, because they do want to make this a vlogging camera, right? They have like OM Cinema profile or the log profile. If they have that, then why don't we improve the autofocus in video by having the human face in eye AI detect, right? They would have been better, but they didn't do that, or bird detection, which is like, you market this as a wildlife, this in our nature, right? Adventure is in our nature. This is a poster, right? But there's no like bird detection autofocus. That's a little bit disappointing, because even if they don't have like the same level of bird detection in the OM1, they can implement the older bird detection autofocus that's found in the EM1X, which I think is not too far-fetched. And with the newer processor, I'm sure it's powerful enough to handle that. So not having that is a little bit of a bummer. I think they can do a little bit more. Like, you don't need the latest processor. You don't need 120 frames per second. I'm okay with that, because hey, there's a reason why OM1 and OM1 Mark II exists, right? They have the latest and greatest. They have 120 frames per second. They have the best pro capture mode, the fastest, the most capable. Even the live ND and everything is the best. Live grad. You don't have to have all this, but at least in terms of autofocus, I wish there was a little bit of improvement. Now, the last thing I want to comment about this camera, which I am also a little bit disappointed, is that if this is true, because I can't guarantee if this is true, and I have seen this reported by DP Review, and we all do trust DP Review, right? So DP Review asked OM Digital Solutions direct representative that's working with them, they asked if the tripod base mount has been improved, because the OM-5 Mark III and the OM-5, there were reported issues of the tripod base, the bottom of the camera, breaking off. It's a common issue to a point where it seems like it's a manufacturing defect. And their response was no. It's basically the same design. They did not do any improvement. They did not implement any changes. They did not upgrade. They did not strengthen the base plate of the camera. They didn't use any different material. They didn't redesign it to be stronger. It's basically the same. That's the official answer that was given to DP Review, and they published that answer on their site. And if that is true, which I think it is, that it is quite disappointing, because, hey, if OM-5 Mark III had the problem, they should have fixed it in OM-5, but they did not. Then they'll say, they give the excuse, oh, you know what? OM Digital Solutions just came out. They don't have the capability to do a lot of things. And this product was already designed by Olympus, blah, 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 blah. But now it's like, what, 5 years later? It's been 4 or 5 years now, and obviously the OM-5 Mark II, they have time to make some changes. Don't tell me in the 4 or 5 years you can't do any redesign just to fix a very valid defect that you have, right? And to ignore that, I think it's a very big sin. It's a very, very big sin. So I don't know how to feel about this. Obviously, I'm not very happy hearing this, looking at what DP Review published. I hope I'm wrong, though. Please prove me wrong. I really hope I'm wrong in this. I hope that they have strengthened the base plate. I hope that the tripod mount doesn't break off too easily. And if this is fixed, then yes, good job, OM Digital Solutions. So I really hope that I'm wrong about this. But if I'm right, if DP Review is right, then it's actually very, very disappointing. That's all I want to talk about. My thoughts on the OM-5 Mark II. There's nothing much to say, because, hey, I don't have the camera. I have not seen the camera, unlike Emily from Microphone Nerds or Jimmy Chang from Red 35, like Chris and Jordan from PetaPixel. They've already seen the camera. They've used the camera extensively to do the reviews. So obviously, their reviews are legit. They can talk on and on and on about the thoughts on the camera. They have photos and videos to show. I have nothing, right? What I have is what you have. You have seen it online. All the reviews that's been published, all the articles, videos, specifications, official announcements. Whatever information that I have, you already have. I don't have anything more than you. But but those are my thoughts, my initial impressions based on what's already available. Hopefully I get to see the camera tomorrow when I go to Fraser's Hill with the OM Systems team in Malaysia. Hopefully they have the camera with them that I can play with it. Then I'll have more things to say. Currently, that's all I have to say. Just a quick recap. I'm happy it's a new camera at this time. I think they need a new camera. I like that it's not too expensive. The price is justified for what it is. I like that they are very daring to create a new color, a new design, which is the sand beige. I know it's controversial. I know there's mixed reactions. Not everyone love it, but still, I applaud them for trying something totally different. And I like that they improve a few things like USB-C, new menu. Oh, the CP button, computational photography button, which I think a lot of people would like as well, right? I like that all the cores, all the core principle or the strengths that make Micro Four Thirds special, or what makes an OMD camera special, is still there. All of them are still there, right? That image stabilization, weather sealing, small and light, and yet it's a very capable camera with some computational features. All these are still valid. Now, what I don't like, a quick summary, I don't like that it's not compatible with this tiny flash anymore, the OM-3. I wish it still is, because I do use this a lot for my macro. I don't like that they didn't fix the tripod mount. And I don't like that they didn't really improve much all the specifications. They could have done something. They could have just improved the autofocus, right? Make it a little bit better than the original OM5. Maybe you don't have to make it the same level as OM3 or OM1 Mark II, but improve it, right? Throw in some AI subject detection, that would have been better. Give us something rather than make the camera so similar to, like, it's 97% the same as the original OM5. So, with that said, let me know what you guys think. I've shared my thoughts. I don't want to talk too much, again, because I don't have the camera. I've not seen the camera in person. I just want to hear your thoughts. So before I get to the chat, let me drink some coffee. And let's get to the chat. Wow, there's a lot of people in the chat. As usual, just a reminder, I will go to members first, yeah? Kachem says, I never had the OM5 Mark III or the Next 5 series? Next 5 series. They say it's plastic, but what kind of feel of plastic? It's not a bad plastic. It feels really good in hand. Andrew says, all clear, all good, can hear you well. Thank you so much for the update, appreciate that. Hey Juliet, how are you? Nice to see you here, Juliet. Juliet says, hi Robin, smaller cameras can bring compromises, and that is my struggle today. My eyes are not great, so electronic viewfinder is important, but my hands are small, so there's a compromise. OM5 might be it, but no beige. You don't like the beige color? Oh, let's see the vote. Still about 286 people voted, 287. 51% voted yes, 37% meh, and 13% hated it with passion. Okay. Let's see. Hey, Tomato, how are you? Tomato says, hi, Robin, and all. Hope everyone is well. We'll see a coffee stream one day. Coffee stream. Maybe. A stream of just me making coffee, right? That'll be interesting. Maybe. Juliet says, what? I can't believe that your last video is not getting traction. Please never stop, though. For me, it's all about the art of photography. I need to also, like, as much as... Okay, here's the struggle, right, Juliet? Let's talk a bit about creator struggle. It can be both extremes, right? So we always try to find a balance in the middle, but it's always the both extremes. The one extreme is like, I want the views, I want the channel to grow, I want my YouTube channel to do well. In order to do that, I need to study what my audience wants, what everyone wants to watch, what's everyone interested in, and I cater or I design my script or my videos in that direction so that people will come in and watch my video. Because if I don't listen to my audience, if I don't study what you guys want, then if I keep making any videos, nobody is watching, then what's the point of having a YouTube channel? I'm just talking to myself, right? So if I want to grow the channel, if I want the channel to do well, I need to make videos for others. Now that's one extreme, just making videos for others. The other extreme is like, I don't care about anyone else. I don't care about what you think. I just make the videos that I want to make because I think these videos are important. And I can't do both, right? It has to be one or another, or somewhere, like, there must be a balance. So I try to make videos that caters to the crowd, the gear reviews, which lens is the sharpest, how to get the tips and tricks on using Olympus cameras, what's the hidden settings, things like that. Those are the things that people come and watch my channel for. But there are times where I also need to make videos that I like, things that I want to talk about, which I feel is important. I want to speak up, or the things that I want to say. I want to have a voice, right? Because I have a platform. So the trick is to find a balance, and it's always not easy, right? If I keep talking about the things that I want to talk about, then nobody watches. Or if I just make videos that everyone wants to watch, then I don't get to say what I want to say. So it's hard to make the balance, right? It's very hard. Kanchem says, don't worry about viewers. Like, remember, Lightroom preset is more sold out than photography book. Man, I don't use Lightroom. And you will never see me sell Lightroom presets, like seriously. And I've been around for like, this is my 6th year on YouTube. I actually never sold anything. Like, I know I asked for coffee, right? That's like, if you found my sharing beneficial, if you've enjoyed looking at my video, if you found that my video has helped you in any way, then it's up to you to tip me, right? You can just like encourage me to share more, right? It's up to you, and and you don't have to if you don't want to. That's perfectly fine, right? It's not a must. And I never ask people to buy anything, right? I don't sell anything yet. I haven't sold anything yet. Dan the Guitar Man says, very true. I guess my thought is OM-5 Mark III or OM-5 are at least half the price, mint condition use, so the fact there's very little new stuff wouldn't make sense for someone to buy the new one. Yeah. True. You need to have more motivation, right? It has to have something enticing to attract new buyers. John says, Robin's favorite project is that his engineering skills lead him to create a breakthrough 0.2 f3.5 lens for micro four thirds. John, I'm not that kind of engineer again. I am a construction civil engineer. I do buildings. I was involved with the Merdeka 118 building, and I was involved with the MRT project. I don't design lenses. How I wish I would have studied optical engineering. Life would have been very, very different. Then the Guitar Man says, yeah, I love your photography advice, Robin. When I first started, I learned a lot from all your technique videos and still do with each new one. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I'll continue to make them. Of course, I will never stop. Then the Guitar Man says, I saw your comment, Robin, on the video, but must have been removed after. Which one? It wasn't removed. It was still there. It's still there. It is still there. Juliet says, I'm so glad you share about PetaPixel. I'm a firm believer that we need to stop assuming bad intent without knowing facts. We need to stop this attack defense thing because it's making society worse. I think it's like, what I did at that moment was, let's not act immediately. Let's just wait for a while, calm down, and see what happens next. And I'm glad that I did. I'm glad that I did not post on my social media, whoa, PetaPixel removed my comment. Wow, PetaPixel censors free speech. You know, I would have done that in that moment of rage, right? I'm glad I didn't. I just took a pause and just waited and just see what happens. I gave myself 1 day. If it really then I told myself I'll email them first and ask what happened, seek clarification before I go public and nuke the whole thing, right? Okay, wow, we are really behind the comments, so let me just try to catch up as fast as I can. Then the Guitar Man says, okay, I jumped the gun, didn't realize some comments take that long to post. I don't know, it should not happen, right? Like, and honestly, of all the YouTube channels, PetaPixel isn't even that big, right? It's not like the video is getting millions of views, like, for example, Mr. Beast, or bigger channels like MKBHD, for example, you get like hundreds and thousands of viewers like instantly, right? It's not even that large. Mike Cruz says, it's worse than YouTube disappears a comment that you want to delete. True. Andrew says, Sam beige isn't bad. It does give a very military rugged appearance. It's definitely a unique color, but it does maybe look out of place with a silver color lens. Yeah, that's true. So I guess if you want that camera, then your lens will have to be black. Yeah, it makes sense. That's a very good point, Andrew. Rippy says, Sam beige makes sense as a camouflage color scheme for wildlife photography. That's true, hey. That's in line with their wildlife outdoor nature theme. That's a very good point, Rippy. Yeah, okay. Mika says, hey Mika, how are you? Mika says, I think that OM has a good range of models with the update of the OM5 Mark II. Yeah, yes. Actually, currently they only have 3, right? OM1, OM3, and OM5. Just 3, which is fine for now. Juliet says, I don't hate the beige color on OM5 Mark II. I just don't like to stand out with my camera. As a street photographer, I don't like to hide, but I don't want to stand out either. Black camera for me. I agree with that. I really agree with you. Like, you don't want to scream attention, right? You don't want people to like, all the heads turn at you, right? Just because you carry a really funky looking camera. I totally agree with you, Juliet. Mike says, OM should release some beige lenses. Now that will be a killer. Juliet says, and you're right, being true to yourself and also serving your audience is a tricky balance, but there's a reason I keep watching you, because I think you do a good job with that. I try. Thank you so much for the compliment, but sometimes, like, it's always an extreme, right? Like, some videos I'll like just make everyone happy, don't think about myself. Some videos I'm like, I don't care what you think, I'll just say what I want, right? You can like, the reason why it's so clear, I just say what I want, I don't care what you think, yeah. Rippy says, the sand beige really is a limited edition, meaning only a specific number will be produced and no more. Whereas I heard it's like 5% of production now, and they're testing the market so they can produce more. I have no idea. I honestly have no idea what they're planning. If it's a limited edition, maybe it's not a bad idea. Maybe the value will increase over time. Who knows? Only time will tell. Okay, let me get to the non-members chat. We are really behind. Wow, we are very, very behind. So I'll try to speed through the comments. Woofy says, even worse, they downgraded the mechanical shutter performance from EM5 Mark III and OM5 to the worst performance like the OM3. I think this makes more sense because the OM5 is below OM3, right? It cannot be better than OM3. So I understand why they do that. But if you take something away, you got to put something in, right? That's why I was complaining like they did not. They should have increased, or they should have improved the autofocus by having the subject detection. That would have made more sense, right? I wish they did. Hey Yumi, how are you? Nice to see you here. Sorry I can't pronounce your name. Hello from Belarus. Hey, how are you? Car says, as a person with little restraints, I own camera bodies with nearly all common sensor sizes. You are not missing out using the featured sensor in everyday life. That's true. I agree with that. Woofy says, and they can put OM1 menus on the old OM1 Mark III processor in this new OM5 Mark II, even though OM Digital Solutions said they need the new OM1 processor. Nah, it's just menu. How much processing power does the menu need? Logically, it's not like I can understand. Let's say if they want to put, like, for example, live and the Grad Live ND. That may require like real-time computational power, which the old processor doesn't have, which makes sense, right? But like, come on, it's just a menu. Like, how much processing power does a menu need? It makes no sense. David says, hello from Virginia. Hey David, how are you? Jerry says, hi from Finland. Hey Jerry, you have flu. Okay, I hope you get well soon. So sorry to hear that. Get some rest, drink a lot of fluids, and get well soon. Gordon says, hi Robin, good morning to all. Hey Gordon, how are you? Uvi says, remember they had promising more subject detection options on OM1X, the substantial updates on OM1. Nope, no promises. Ching Xiao says, hello from Hungary. Hey Ching, how are you? Steve says, hey from Michigan. Hey Steve, good to see you again. Fromia says, hello Robin, last time I asked for the OM10, now the OM5 Mark II has the grip of the EM10 Mark IV, so it has even less likely for the OM10 to become a reality. I will miss the tilt screen, yeah. I think like, I don't know if this is true, I've said this already, but I just want to repeat it quickly. It seems that the strategy now is going for the 3-camera lineup, like OM1 is the flagship, OM3 is the mid-tier, and then OM5 is like the lowest level. Not necessarily an entry level, but just the lowest level. I don't think I don't know if they're going to come out with an OM10 or a successor to the EM10 series, but we'll see. Skoda says, no hate here, just a YouTube in general. Don't watch too much YouTube, or watch YouTube, but don't go through too much comment, right? That place is very, very toxic. Robert says, my OM5 has 1.5 years usage and its USB port is more or less virgin. I use external charger, spare battery, and card reader. For many, USB-C is a convenience. I don't want to upgrade. But then again, for example, my OM1 now, you can't see it because I'm streaming with it. The USB-C is extremely important because I plug in the power directly into the camera. Power delivery through USB-C, which means I can stream on and on for 2 to 3 hours without worrying about the battery dying off and I have to turn on the camera again to replace the battery. I don't have to think about that. So that's one of the reasons why the USB-C is very, very, very important, right? And since it's just a standard, and when I travel, and especially when I travel, I don't want to carry chargers. I want to carry as little as possible. I'm a minimalist. If I can charge the camera through USB-C, I will. It saves me and also, like, if I bring the charger, I'm not sure if this has happened to people before. I have accidentally left chargers at hotels. It has happened to me before. And those chargers are not cheap. Okay? And USB cable is cheap. I mean, buy a new cable for, like, here in Malaysia it's 10 ringgit, $2 fast charging cable. I'm pretty sure an original OM system charger is not $2. So yeah. Fajar says, has it a major update from OM5 for the OM5 Mark II make people feel regret after buying OM3? Now, it's 97% the same as the OM5. But OM3 is a different camera though. It's a totally different target market, so no regret whatsoever. Ying says, good evening. The OM5 Mark II is making the EM1X look more appealing in terms of value proposition in 2025. Not really. I feel that the EM1X is, how do I say this? It's out of place. It's a gigantic camera. If I were to buy something that huge, I'd rather go for Nikon Z8 or Z9. I wouldn't be using a Micro Four Thirds system. So, especially in 2025, when all the other camera manufacturers are sizing down, the EM1X is just out of place. Completely out of place. Yeah, let me see if there's any members chat. Nope. Okay, let me just go through a few more chats and then we'll go to the photo sharing for this week. Yay. We have a lot of chats to go through. Jeff says, once you get into making proper coffee, you'll never go back to instant. Nah, that's not true. I still prefer the convenience here. I don't have a lot of time. A lot of people don't realize that. And I always find ways to do things a lot more efficiently. Yumi says, OM5 Mark II sounds good for people who don't have the OM5 or EM5 Mark III. That's true, that's true. But then again, like, or if your EM5 Mark III is dying, because the camera depends on how often you use the camera or how you abuse the camera, right? If you need a replacement, then maybe the OM5 Mark II is not a bad choice. Rutayan says, hi Robin from Boston. Hey Rutayan, how are you? Nice to see you here. AUS says, I'm a new subscriber, but is it okay if I ask out of context? Ask away. If I can answer, I'll answer. Sante says, good evening, Robin. Hey, Sante, how are you? Kevin says, is the OM5 Mark II a resin body? No idea. Could be an opportunity for colorful special editions. Red edition coming next year. I don't think so. I think they just have one sand beige. Right? I don't think they have all the weird colors. Roger says, the latest OM5 seems fine if you are upgrading from the EM5 Mark III, but I have the OM1 Mark I, which is pretty much all the upgrades. But then again, like, I would like to reiterate this, that OM1 and OM5 are very different cameras. And I have owned the EM5 Mark III and EM1 Mark II, both cameras before, and I use them very, very differently. If I were to go out and vlog, I'd rather carry the EM5 Mark III than the EM1 Mark II. It's so much smaller, it's lighter, it's easier to handle, and it's just so much more convenient. I don't need dual cut slots unless I'm doing professional jobs. I don't need it to be so rugged. Again, if I'm a professional photographer doing jobs, but I'm not going to use the EM5 Mark III to do those professional jobs. So as a travel, casual, everyday carry street photography camera, I think the EM5 Mark III, or currently now the new one is the OM5, OM5 Mark II. It's a better camera if you don't need the bulk or all these fancy features, the latest and greatest, powerful computational features from the OM1, OM1 Mark II. Yeah. Sunday says, hope you're doing well. I'm doing all right. I'm at Tumpat, Kelantan for a cousin's wedding. Wow. I hope you have a camera with you and get some nice photos. Lip Gloss Eater says, I was hoping they have fixed the weak tripod issue. Nope, they have not. Sunday says, the specs and features of OM5 Mark II is lackluster. I guess I will just hold with my OM5. Yeah, if you have the OM5, no reason to upgrade to the OM5 Mark II at the moment. Hey Richard, how are you? Richard says, good evening Robin, looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. I'm traveling to Richard. He's an OM System Ambassador in Malaysia, and we are going to Fraser's Hill. Richard will be speaking at the event, and he'll be the judge for the bird race, which I'm very excited to see. I've never been to the bird race before. I've never been to this event, so I'm very, very excited. So yeah, see you tomorrow, Richard. Gordon says, I think the OM5 Mark II is fine. Should have been the camera released 3 years ago, but didn't need a stack sensor. Small and light, good camera. Well, 3 years ago, they were struggling, right? I mean, the company is just barely taking off the ground. They just took over from Olympus. A new company came out, and it was like COVID. Not really the best time to do anything radical or drastic, right? Wolfie says EM5 Mark III is half the price of the new OM5 Mark II, and it's 95% the same, but better mechanical shutter performance. EM1 Mark III is just a little over half the price and better at everything. But then again, like, you can't compare specs to specs directly. May I remind everyone that EM5 and EM1 are two very different cameras. To a non-professional photographer who don't need two dual cut slots, who don't need the camera to be so robust, who doesn't want the camera to be so big, they want something smaller if they travel, they want the camera to be as light as possible, as small as possible, smallest footprint. The EM5 Mark III or the OM5 is a better solution. I can see how it fits some people. Not everyone will gravitate towards the OM1 camera's design. And the fact that the OM5 has the sand beige, it is very telling what these cameras are targeted towards, right? So yeah, don't equate the EM5 series to the EM1. It was never the same from day one. It was always a separate thing. They're doing the separate things. And a lot of people own both EM5 and EM1 and they use it in different situations. I myself, I'm one of the examples, right? And same now, OM1, OM5, I don't think these two cameras should be put side by side together and compared directly, right? I think they're just two cameras designed for very different purposes. Yeah. Okay, let's see if we have members chat. If we don't have, I'll have to put a pause to this comment. Where is this comment? And then we'll start with the photo sharing. If I can find the comment. Let me see. Where were we? Okay. Okay, time check is almost 10 minutes past 11. Let me drink some water. I've been speaking for an hour non-stop. Let's drink. You gotta stay hydrated. We have about how many people watching at the moment? 200 people watching. Okay, last weekend I went out to do any... Oh, we have a super chat, sorry. Let me just address the super chat first. Ying says, with the popularity of Fuji cameras, I wonder why OM6 and Lumix aren't trying to appeal to that market with their older, smaller designs. Yeah. Thanks for the super chat, Ying. I appreciate that. And I think that's a great segue for me to talk about smaller, older designs. This is the Olympus Pen Mini EPM2 or Pen Mini 2, which was like probably from more than 10 years ago. So last weekend I brought this camera out to do some shutter therapy and I made a video with it. Technically it's a POV video where I went around, capture what's around me, what's in front of me before I click the shutter button. I'll show you what's in my screen so you can see my settings, how I compose my shot. That video will come out in maybe one or more than 1 month from now. So I have a buffer of different videos that I want to release first. So this video will not be released very soon, but you get to see the photos first. I think it's a very fun camera. I think, again, I agree with you, Ying, that OM Digital Solutions is missing out, that they should be targeting this hipster crowd or the people who want smaller cameras that is still very capable and can change lens. Now, I did not use this lens for these photographs that I have shared. I was actually using the Olympus 25 f1.8. I don't have the 25 f1.8 now with me because my friend Jackie just took it from me, like 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago. He needed a lens for some projects. So I don't have the 25 f1.8 with me, but the photographs that you're about to see, they're all taken with the 25 f1.8. Okay, so here are the photos. I love shooting through holes. Again, when we talk about photos, let me just share again about composition, some tips and tricks on how to get nice street photos. Shooting through gaps. It's always a nice way to draw attention to the subject. And in this situation, I also intentionally placed the person away from the center and I wanted the person to be doing something. So he was carrying the cloth and he was also about to carry the stool. So both hands doing something, and in that position, it's a very dramatic or dynamic shot that the person is moving off center to create some tension, off balance, and shooting through a gap to emphasize on what's happening in the middle. So there you go. Light and shadow, whenever there's harsh sun, the light was glorious last Sunday. This was on a Sunday. So whenever there's a deep shadows, it's a perfect way to highlight certain parts of the frame. Here there's like a triangle in the middle. In photography, we love triangles. So it's just a perfect spot to highlight a man walking by. So yeah, and I just love the colors that's coming out from this old EPM2. I think the colors, there's a bit of warmth to it, and it's very punchy, very vivid, and yet not being oversaturated or not being overbearing. It's just very pleasing, very, very, very bold. Yeah. Portrait of strangers, I go really close to this person. I just love the skin tone that the EPM2 renders. This is I think the second generation Micro Four Thirds image sensor, the 16 megapixels image sensor. There's a certain charm to the colors that it renders. I just love the skin tone that it can produce. It's just really, really natural, really, really pleasing, very, very nice looking. And of course, I do a lot of this kind of portraits. And I just love 25 f1.8. I don't have the lens now, but I just want to talk about that lens. Just something about the way the lens renders humans. Everything just looks so pleasing. And I know that if you compare to a full frame lens, a 50 equivalent, then you can get like blurrier background, you get like more separation, this or that. But come on, look at this photograph. They're so organic, so real. There's some realism to it, right? It's just something so nice about the rendering of this 25 f1.8 that I don't even see in the Panasonic 25 f1.4. I'm gonna stop there before people start bashing me, saying that I say horrible things about Panasonic. I can see what I'm doing here. There are multiple horizontal lines. The roller shutter all the way at the back is horizontal. The man's shirt is also horizontal stripe. And then the tablecloth in front is also horizontal stripe. Stripe, 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 all matching together. Since we are on the topic of sand beige, OM-5 Mark II's questionable, controversial color scheme, here we have the beige brown color of a man wearing the same color matching the background, the door in the background. There you go. That's what I do best, right? Finding colors, matching colors. So yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of mannequins, and all these mannequins, because you know, like the wind in Malaysia sometimes gets windy and they get blown over, and I'm sure they fall down face down. The part that is most vulnerable for breaking is the nose, which I find very, very interesting. Like you can see a lot of mannequins with broken noses or holes in the nose, which is very, very, very fascinating. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like, this photograph, would it win a photo contest? No. But did I see something interesting in it? Yes. Did it catch my attention? Yes. So to me, that's a good photograph. I don't care about contests or validation, or if you can get like 5,000 likes on Instagram. That's not me, right? That's not why I do my street photography. Again, another portrait of strangers. Again, you see the way that the lens renders is just so beautiful. I just love this 25 f1.8 so much. Like, look at the photograph, and oh my goodness, look at the skin tone, and look at how sharp the photo. Like, it just jumps. Like, this man is just jumps out of the screen, right? And the color of the skin and everything, it just falls into place so nicely. Yeah, and just I don't know. I just love using this EPM2 and the 25 f1.8 combination. Again, this is a locker room outside, where half of them is under the shadow and the other part is exposed under the sunlight. I just love playing with highlight and shadow, especially when the light is really harsh. And I love that there's a blue helmet at the top, matching the blue colored lockers. Color matching is something that I do a lot, if you haven't realized. Yeah, again, color matching, blue, a man walking by, and there's like a gap opening in the middle. I place the man right there as he walk by. So it's all about timing. You can see how I do this in my POV video, which should be published about a few weeks or 1 month from now. So stay tuned for that. Again, portrait of stranger, a man about to unload a lot of packages or boxes from the truck. It was there. I like that he's wearing a bright hot pink shirt, and there's a lot of yellow in the background. I love colors, all how the colors come together. There's bright yellow, bright hot pink, and the man was really friendly. I point my camera at him, and just he struck me a pose, so it was really nice. Yeah, again, another portrait of strangers. Just love this 25 f1.8. I'm just so addicted of finding strangers and take photos of them. It's just so, I don't know, it's just something so nice. And every time I get a nice shot, it makes me so happy. It's just, man, I don't know how to describe the feeling. Another portrait, you can see my interaction with them in my POV video, which should be published 1 month from now. How I approached him. This man was sweeping the floor. I just go to him, ask, hey, can I get a shot? And he said yes. So I grab a shot of him. So it's just so nice. And all these people are genuine, right? When they smile, when they look at the camera, it's not pretend. Like, they are genuine. They look at you as is. They don't have makeup on, or they don't dress up like fancy, or and they don't. It's not like a lot of these fake things that you see on Instagram or TikTok, right? All these things are real. And that's why I think street photography should be. We have a super chat. Let me go to the super chat first before we come back to the photo sharing again. We just have a few more photos to go. Thank you so much, Original Gem Tracks. Hi. Hi, Robin. After the new OM5 Mark II, do you think OM system is likely to release OM1 Mark III soon? If so, I wonder what new tech it will feature. I think it'll be 1 or 2 more years before OM1 Mark III, and I think they shouldn't rush it. I also think that, or rather they take the time to really fine tune and give us a wow product, like make it revolutionary, give us a game changer product, put in all the good features, maybe a new sensor, some really cool new features that will be really impressed and get wow and mind blown with the new product, right? So I rather they take another year or two to really make it happen. I don't think this year there'll be any more surprises coming from OM system, maybe 1 or 2 more lenses towards the end of the year. I think that's it. So yeah, thanks for the support. Thanks for the super chat, Original Gem Tracks. Really appreciate that. Let's get to the last few photographs. This was an interesting one. I saw the man walking by drinking. He paused right at the square opening door thing, which I thought was a nice natural framing for him, and he drank water there. So that was perfect. So I took a shot. But then like a man walked directly on top of him. So I thought, okay, now this is an interesting composition. So I grabbed that as well. So I did not see this coming, but as the man was walking by, again, don't look down on this EPM2. The camera is so responsive. You just click, and you grab the shot, right? And it has very, very minimal shutter lag. The camera is super responsive. I can just click and get the shot reflexively and just nail the shot easily. So yeah. And this was taken across the road with the 25 f1.8, which I love. You can see the dynamic range of the camera. You can capture what's in the shadow, what's in the highlight. Both men at different shops selling carpets. This is at Jalan Tunku Abdul Rahman, which is a very common scene in Kuala Lumpur. And this is the last shot of the Merdeka 118 building. I've taken this same composition many times, but I still take it. I am the kind of person, I don't get bored of things easily. I see the same thing. I look at the KLCC Twin Towers. I look at all these landmarks. I just take a lot of photos of them. I don't get bored. I don't know. Is that weird? Do you like take a shot of something and then you move on and don't look back anymore? But I'll just keep taking more and more of the same shots. So anyway, that's the set of photographs that I'm sharing this week. I hope you've enjoyed those photographs taken with this Olympus Pen Mini EPM2. Not this lens. I was using the 25 f1.8, which I don't have currently because my friend Jackie just took it from me. All right, let me drink more water because I'm really thirsty and it's really hot here. It's 29.5 degrees in my room. That's why I can't wait to go to Fraser's Hill tomorrow. Temperatures at night goes down to like 16 degrees. So looking forward to that. Do we have more coffee? Do we have some coffee left? Oh yes, we do. So coffee. All right, let's get to the chat. As usual, I'll go to members first. If you're not a member, just be a little bit patient with me. All right. Rippy says, the OM5 tripod mount is not a problem when used as intended, placing the camera on a tripod, but it can get torn out when used to attach a strap to carry the camera, especially with a heavy lens. Yeah. Here's the thing, right? This problem started with OM5 Mark III. I've spent more than 2 years making videos on this YouTube channel with the OM5 Mark III. And how do I make my YouTube videos? I have to put the OM5 Mark III on a tripod. And in my earlier days, you can check on my channel, I release 2 videos every week. So I make 2 to 3 videos every single week with the OM5 Mark III. I put the camera on a tripod on and off twice a week and I move it around. That's how many times a year? That's hundreds of times a year for 2 years, right? And nothing happened. My OM5 Mark III was perfectly fine. The tripod mount did not break. Everything was fine, right? So I don't know. I'm not saying that the problems being complained was not valid. I'm not saying that. Obviously, people complain. There's a problem. But yeah, my tripod base plate never broke. Everything was fine. So yeah. Tomato says, I love the blue helmet and the blue lockers. Tickles my curiosity. I know, right? Like, here's the thing about street photography. I look at it like, hey, that's a helmet. You see it, and you grab it. It's as simple as that, right? Don't think too much, right? And that's the thing that I talk about in my recent video on Monday. Like, don't overthink. A lot of people try to impress people. They try to find shots that can make people click like, but no. For me, it's the opposite. I find the shots that attract my attention, then I click the shot, right? So that's the difference. Yeah. Let's get to the non-members chat. We're a little bit behind, but I'll try my best to catch up as fast as I can. Wow, we are really behind. Astrom says, I don't think there'll be an OM10, but maybe they'll make it EP7 Mark II. No, when they were questioned about pen, they said, we don't know what we are doing. We don't know what to do with it. That's the official answer from OM system. Yeah, Gus says, so impressed with the OM5 Mark II that I bought an OM5 Mark II. Wow, that's a throwback, right? That's like 11 years old camera. It's launched in 2014. Yeah, 11 years ago. Reinhardt says, in former times, every new camera showed something really new. It started with OM5, afterwards the OM1, which was much more, but then OM5 Mark II added, again, new things. OM Mark II added new things. Yeah, I think those were the times where Olympus was really desperate. Remember, there was a huge accounting fraud scandal where not really the Olympus Imaging was clean, it was not involved, but Olympus corporate or the medical group, they were involved with some fraud, and it was technically the biggest accounting scandal in history. And because of that, the stocks plummeted. They almost got delisted. The company was in trouble, and I think they were really desperate to win back the customers' trust. So the imaging division was trying their best to put in to pump up all the best technology that they have into like the OM5, OM1, OM5 Mark II, and OM1 Mark II. Like, those were the best years. You can really see that the R&D is like working overtime, trying to pump up all these new features. They were ahead of the time, right? They were showing the industry, hey, what mirrorless camera should look like. Yeah, Public Salad. Another great handle. Public Salad says, do you think new cameras right now has hit the ceiling in terms of specifications? Any camera, even old DSLRs, are good enough to practice photography? Depends on what kind of photography that you do. Like, I cannot go back to DSLRs anymore for my jobs because I need, what you see is what you get. The electronic viewfinder or LCD screen. I already see my results before I click the shutter button. With DSLRs, after I click the shutter button, sometimes I get underexposed or overexposed image. It's like always a second guessing game, and I don't like that. I want to be 100% sure before I click the shutter button. So mirrorless has changed this so much that I can't go back anymore. And there are certain features that I've come to rely on, like image stabilization, the faster autofocus, a lot of these newer features, which has really helped change the way I shoot, and it has improved things for the better, right? But having said that, if it's just for personal photography, I'm not delivering to clients, nothing is critical. Any DSLR from 10, 20 years ago is fine. I still shoot with the Nikon D50, right? You saw that, yeah. But I would think that there's always room to improve. I think that in terms of sensor technology, we can always get better dynamic range. A bit more resolution wouldn't hurt. In terms of features, there are a lot of things that can be done. Like, why can't we get focus stacking in RAW? That has not happened yet. Like ND, live ND, why can't we get like ND 1000, for example, or more, or 4000, while we stuck at ND 32, for example, right? So yeah. Reinhardt says, not in Germany. What's not in Germany? Lip Gloss Eater says, I'm digging the beige, the sand beige color. Let's look at the poll. We have 363 votes. 49% says yes. 39% says meh. Meh basically means indifferent, like don't really care, don't hate it, but don't care. And 12% is hating it with passion. Only 49% love it. Okay. I thought maybe about 60, 70% would say love it, but never mind. Whatever. I mean, numbers are numbers, right? So yeah. Kara says, what lens color would one choose for the beige body? Black. Black will be better. Kara says stream is fine. Thank you so much for letting me know. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate that. Joe says black and silver versions will $99 introductory offer. The price raised back to $1199. Really? So I thought the camera is not selling yet. Like, why did they change the price? I thought like the cameras now is like only on pre-orders. You can't buy it yet. Why would they change the price? That doesn't make any sense, right? Sunday says, I went to Canon, Nikon, Sony, and Fuji at the YL fair. I feel that other brands' entry-level cameras are catching up on the OM5 level. That is true. But then again, like, there's always a catch, right? For example, if you talk about like Canon R10 or R50, yeah, it's like OM5 level, right? But it doesn't have image stabilization. There are a lot of compromises there here, and they don't have weather sealing. Same with the Nikon Z52. Yeah, the camera is good. It has like very good autofocus. It's great 24 megapixel image sensor, very good ergonomics, very responsive camera. But the Z52 doesn't have image stabilization. It's not weather sealed. Again, it's like when you put everything together, it seems like OM5 is not bad. And the only thing from Fuji that really matches the OM5 level is XE5, which is not even at the YL fair. But the XE5 is like 1799. Was it 1699? And in terms of US dollar, right? And OM5 is like 1200. So there's like $500 gap, which is a very big thing, right? So in terms of specs, Fuji has it, but it's also offering a lot more expensive. And everyone else is like either they don't have image stabilization or they don't have weather sealing. So I still feel that the OM5 Mark II is a very well-rounded, very complete package at this point. Yeah. Sixter says, Robin, saw in person for the first time OM3 and OM5 Mark II at B&H Expo in New York City. Beige OM5 Mark II is more physically appealing, but I already have an OM5 Mark I, not getting a new one. Yeah, I guess the color is not enough to entice you, right? Nah, just kidding. It's technically almost the same camera as the OM5 original, sorry. So no reason to upgrade unless you really, really dig the beige color. Asram says, the relatively acceptable price of $11.99 for the OM5 Mark II compared to $13.99 launch price for the original OM5 might indicate that OM system recognizes that the OM5 Mark II is a minor update. Yes, it is. It is. Philip says, I wouldn't buy it in beige, but I like it for other people. Currently, there's 49% of the people who voted yes, so that's 49% of the other people that you like it for, right? Sunday says, listening to people surveying, many are looking for entry-level camera to enter the system. This OM has to make a bombastic and cheaper entry to market to make people enter Macro Four Thirds. Yeah, that's where the Pan EPL series come in, right? Which they totally ditch, which I think is still a poor decision. And that's where the EM10 series is also affordable line, which they also completely don't care, which I don't understand. Yeah. Let me see if there's any members chat. We have a few. Let me go to the members first. James says, attended the Build Expo in New York City this week. Got to play with the OM5 Mark II for about 10 minutes. Asked them why no AI for birds when they are marketing adventure. They immediately showed me the OM3. I guess they want you to buy the OM3, right? They get higher profit margin from that camera. It's like $199, right? Like $700 to $800 more expensive, I guess. That's where they earn more money from you. Yeah. You guys are talking to each other. No worries. Santic says, I can see that entry-level camera is a very important thing for the manufacturers as the sales numbers and entry to the system. That's what I've been saying for a lot of live streams. They've been talking about this all this time. Jackie says, just keep doing on what you love. That's how Robin always stay true to himself. Thanks, Jackie. And Jackie is the one who stole my 25 f1.8 like a few hours ago. That's the Jackie I talked about earlier. Sunday says, by the way, the sand beige color is only 5% for the initial run. It is just to test the market. Okay, but it seems like, I don't know, it's getting a lot of attention, which is good. Whether you like it or not doesn't really matter, right? Like, if you don't like it, then there's black or silver. And I think the black and silver variants look really good. Like this, I had the silver EM5 Mark III. I thought it looked fantastic. I've been using it for years. No problem, right? Roger says 2 weeks of anticipation. Sunday says SE5 specs is impressive. It made the OM5 Mark II launch seems lackluster, but it is also a lot more expensive. And to be honest, I still feel that OM5 is a more well-rounded camera compared to the XE5. If you really think about it, OM5, I will just put it straight out. The image stabilization will still be better. No questions asked. It's about the same electronic viewfinder. I would say that, yes, of course, if you talk about, oh, it has 40 megapixels, it has all this subject detection, this and that and whatever. But the XE5, wait, let me check something. The XE5 is not weather sealed. Just want to cross-check my facts. Whereas the OM5 Mark II is weather sealed. So, like, there are things that the OM5 does better than the SE5. Overall, it's still a more well-rounded package, and it is a lot cheaper. Yeah, people argue about the resolution, right, 40 megapixels, but honestly, I think based on a lot of photographer friends that I trust, they actually prefer the 26 megapixels sensor from Fuji, the X-Trans sensor, one generation before the 40 megapixel. They say the 26 megapixels has better dynamic range, high ISO, tonality, everything is better. The 40 megapixels has more problems compared to the 26 megapixels. So there you go. Like, if that's true, then the 40 megapixels is not really an advantage, right? And other than that, it's not weather sealed. And image stabilization, the OM5 is still better. Overall, I still think that OM5 is a better camera. If you ask me. Taco says, hi Robin, hey Taco, how are you? After Emily's explanation on the OM5 Mark II specs, kind of makes sense, especially since they maintain the same launch price. A stacked sensor might make it priced like an XE5. I never asked it to be stacked. I never said we want a stacked sensor. And I think that stacked sensor doesn't really give much benefits. And as much as a lot of people love the OM1 and OM Mark II, I don't see how it's so much better than the EM1 Mark II. I still prefer the EM1 Mark II over the OM1. The EM1 Mark II doesn't have a stack sensor. I still prefer using EM1 Mark II as my main workhorse. OM1 is my backup. So yeah. Car says, advice on taking pictures is most welcome. I own a lot of gear and most does little for actual results. I very much appreciate your insights into gear. Only to manage people's expectations in gear. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I will still continue to do what I love to do, right? That's not going to change. It's just that finding the balance is hard. So I'm just ranting here, like, you know, the struggle is real, right? And I'm a creator, like I have to balance what people want to watch and what I want to make. So that's always a struggle. David says, good thing about the OM5 Mark II is that we now get the OM5 at a cheaper price and get almost the same camera specs. All right. Gordon says, minor updates, but that's okay. Just not exciting, not keen in the beige color, but folks say it looks better in person. More of a matte finish. I wouldn't upgrade from the OM5, but will likely order black. Yeah, I think a lot of people still go for the more traditional colors, the black and silver. And I personally think the silver color looks amazing. But I guess if you want something different, beige is different, right? It's unique. If you want something unique, if you want to stand out from the crowd, yeah, beige is not a bad idea. Yeah. Okay, where were we? I lost track of the comment a little bit there. Okay. Shanzi says, hi Robin, you are absolutely right. It cannot be only about photo cameras and lenses. It has to be what you do with it, photography. Yes. What's the point of having cameras and lenses if you don't shoot with it, right? It's about photography. Predrag says, what was the point of this new 5-year-old camera? OM is just a trash company. I think that's unfair. I don't think there are any trash companies. I think you can say that, okay, here's my problem with people commenting. As much as I respect free speech, free opinion, you can say whatever you want, but you have to say in a way that it's not too... Like, what you're doing is just trolling. I'm just going to call you out. You can say that I don't see the point of what OM is doing. That's fine. If you stop there, that's perfectly fine. But to call it a trash company, now that negative remark, that is unnecessary. Now, that is what will get your comment removed from YouTube, or it may break community guidelines. Because that negativity doesn't add anything to the discussion. It doesn't add anything useful or new, or it doesn't make anything better. If you remove that remark, your comment would be more legit. Yes, I agree with you. What's the point of this new 5-year-old camera? I agree with you. I think OM system could have done more. I agree 100%. But what I don't agree with is that OM is a trash company, because if they are a trash company, then why are they around, right? Olympus has a strong legacy. OM system carries on the legacy. They may not be doing what you love, but you don't have to call it a trash company. I think that is unnecessary. I think that's what makes you a horrible person. Yeah. Gordon says, escape the heat, come out hetero British Columbia. So some photo walks on the coast, in the mountains, or in the desert. Right. Oh, you guys have different ways to find places to escape the heat. Hey, I really, I'm envious of that. Kevin says, what's your last street photography video? People don't know what they're missing. Anyone doing street photography will find it useful. Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate the support. That's really nice of you. Santik says, it feels like the OM5 Mark II should be an EM5 Mark III successor and 5 years late. Not really. I think if it is a successor, then it could have done a little bit more. I still feel that it's about 97% the same as the EM5 Mark III. Yeah, Fazik says, it's the updates that abysmal. Yeah, I wish there were more updates to talk about, right? Yeah. Joe says, it seems that OM1, OM Mark II, and OM3 might be the best options, but still pretty large bodies. Yes. If you want small body, the latest one is the OM5 Mark II, right? That's why I talk about, like, some people actually appreciate a smaller size body. Really, I'm not kidding. And OM1 is not small. As much as a lot of people say, oh, it's too small for me. I'm like, I have very large hands. Well, good for you. But technically, OM1 is a pretty large camera and it's pretty heavy as well. Gus says, maybe. It seems like they have different crews managing different original sites. But it's also pretty confusing clicking on the OM5 Mark II and seeing that I also included the Mark I in there. Okay. CMS Mark says, OM5 Mark II is a decent upgrade for someone like me with the EM10 Mark II. That said, the EM5 Mark III would probably also be enough for me. I have the price of the OM5 Mark II. Yes, coming from EM10 Mark II, you gain a lot. You get wider ceiling, which you don't have in the EM10 series camera. You also get better image stabilization. That's a huge upgrade. You get a different sensor as well, so image quality is improved. And also the face detection autofocus, which is a huge bonus. If you do video or photo, tracking moving subjects using the continuous autofocus is a different experience. So it's definitely a huge upgrade. And of course, the new computational features like Pro Capture Mode, handheld high shot, Live ND, which you don't have in the EM10. Yeah. Gus says, yeah, for the bird, seems like OM1 Mark II, OM3 might be better. Of course, the bird detection autofocus. Mai says, hot take, OM have become the Suzuki of the camera world. Sorry, I'm not familiar with Suzuki. I'm not into cars or automobile or motorcycles, all those things. Those things, they are alien to me. Making the same stuff for years with little no change. If you're into bikes, you know what I mean. Nope, I'm not into bikes, sorry. Jason says, greetings from Minnesota. I have been a great fan of your teaching and channel. Thank you so much, Jason. Appreciate that. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you being here. Let's get to members chat. I think I missed a few already. Tomato says, I really like the beige color scheme. You're one of the 49%. It's great if you're already bought into the beige lifestyle, have a beige car, beige clothes. All right, makes sense. Maybe they can come out with a beige lens wraps for the existing lenses. It's a deal breaker for me right now for not having anything to match. I think it's black matches beige, don't you think? I think black matches it perfectly. Not a big problem there. Yep. We are quite behind in the chat. Okay, let me catch up as soon as I can. Car says, it was Camera Store's channel. Maybe they made a mistake in the pricing. They have to change it, right? Josh says, how many will be made with this color? I have no idea. Car says, mistakes happen. Correcting mistakes takes strength and dedication. That's how one achieves quality and maturity. I guess you're referring to PetaPixel. That's why I have very high regard for PetaPixel. And of course, I really respect and admire what Chris and Jordan are doing there. So yeah, Prosty says, hey Robin, too bad it's just a refresh, still a nice camera. Yeah, I'm sure it is a nice camera, even for today. It's a capable camera that can deliver fantastic results. Etsy Photography says, I saw it Robin, it was there all day in the UK. Very odd you didn't see it. See what? You mean see the camera? I don't think, well, you have to understand. We don't have OM digital solutions in Malaysia. We don't have it anymore. Olympus exited the business in 2020, yeah, during COVID, right? So because of that, we only have an official distributor, which is a YL camera. So things are different. We cannot expect the same thing now that we don't have an official representation in the country. We are like the stepbrother that nobody likes. CMS Smart says, if anything, I feel that OM Digital Solutions is lacking with firmware updates. For example, Nikon ZF firmware update put it on par with the Z5 Mark II, despite being a year older. I'll get either it if I buy a full frame camera. Yes. It's so funny because it was Olympus that started all this firmware update trend. Remember EM1? It has like 4 firmware updates. Same with the EM1 Mark II. It has like four major firmware updates, which is insane. But firmware update 3 is like you're turning it into a completely new camera altogether, right? And it inherits the firmware 3 puts the EM1X focusing algorithm into the EM1 Mark II, which is crazy. And they just completely don't use this trend anymore. I don't know why. They were the first to do it, and now everyone else is doing it, and they don't do it anymore. Zach says, good morning from US, Robin. Hey, Zach, how are you? Taking my photo hobby with EM1 Mark II to the streets for the protests. Okay. Stay safe, though. I guess protests or demonstrations can be quite dangerous out there, so just be careful. Got tear gas. The news crew last week, but making friends with other photographer. I guess that's part of the fun, right? If you don't get tear gas or anything, then it's not part of the whole experience. Just be careful, don't get hurt. Yeah, Prosley says, YouTube is such crazy with comments. Sometimes they disappear, sometimes they go waiting for moderation, and somehow the spam bots get away with anything. I know, right? Mike says, screw those people, Robin is literally the nicest guy on the planet. Thank you so much, appreciate that. Jamie says, I like the new color. It feels like recycled technology again. Might as well pick up the OM1. Yeah. If you're for the specs, if you don't care about small cameras, you don't care about lightweight setup, if you want to have better specifications, better value for money, then of course OM1 is for you. Eric says, nay, all you wanted was the new Pan F or EP7. I don't think we can expect anything pen from OM system at the moment. Jimmy says, for you, racist and actual camera facts in a sentence? Yeah, yes. I have banned, I think, at least 50 of those people, 50 or more. Pearson says, love you, Robin, in all the haters. Thank you so much, Pearson. I appreciate that. SC Photography says, OM3 should have had the OM5 update, and the OM5 Mark II got the OM3 specs. OM3 is amazing. Fun for photos at lower price. We have attracted more people with less features. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. Like, I don't really know what they're doing, the strategy moving forward. It was quite clear, the EM1, EM5, and EM10 structure back then. EM1 was like the flagship, EM5 was a mid-tier, EM10 is entry-level, right? Now it's like, EM5 is not entry-level, it's not priced at entry-level, it's above $1,000 US. And the OM3 and OM1 is like so similar, I don't even know what, just different shape, right? So I don't really know what they're trying to do. Hang says, I just think it would look hideous pairing with silver lenses. Didn't pair it with black. There are black options. Kevin says, I sometimes delete my own comments. I learned the hard way. Don't text after margaritas. Aww. That's why I don't drink. Will says, have they upgraded the sensor on this camera? Nope, it's the same image sensor from the OM5 original. Mai says, Japan Industrial Partner is perhaps the one to blame for the lazy EM5 Mark III rebatch. Engineers probably wanted something better than that, but they couldn't help but to align with the shareholders' interests. We don't know what's happening at this moment. This is all just speculation, a lot of assumptions going around, whether they have the R&D team, the engineers to make a new camera or not, or is the camera's policy or strategy moving forward. I have no idea, right? We don't know what's happening behind closed doors. But I would like to see some progress, right? We all want to see more like wow features in the cameras, right? Mackie says it would have been even better if the covering letter were brown. Understand. I guess designers' decisions. As if Photography says, the OM5 is an amazing camera, been ahead of the game for so long, but needed something more. New processor, better imagery, and more ND. Yeah, great camera. All around, it's not a bad camera. It's still very capable today. It's just like you said, it's been the same since EM5 Mark III and OM5, right? I would expect a bit more progress or a bit more improvement, especially autofocus, or maybe, I know that new sensor is a bit much to ask for. I think new sensor, better image quality will come in OM1 Mark III or whatever flagship that's coming next. Maybe not the OM5 iteration, but still, I wish there's a bit more updates or a bit more improvement, right? Yeah. Court Matrach says, the sand color reminds me of Think Tank Photo launching a sandstone version of their retrospective bags. Yeah, those bags look really good. Hey, who is Rafin says, I don't know if it's too bold painting plastic bag beige. Bold would have been making a titanium body. They did have a titanium OM-5 Mark II limited edition. Remember that? Yeah. Roger says, maybe someday I may upgrade so I have most of the OM1 type upgrades. Okay. Yumi says, Robbie, I can't wait until you test the OM5 Mark II and pour water over it. Well, did you see PetaPixel? Chris actually chucked the camera under running waterfall. Running water, or is it river? Waterfall. Yeah, so that beats my pouring water over the camera. Chris has done a better job. Yeah, you don't need to wait for me. SingStat says the Sunny version is a limited edition. That's fun. The camera seems to be up. The dated, unweirded with proper connection and menu system. I have the OM5 Mark I. Mark II will not be my body number 2. Okay. If you have the OM5 original, yeah, it doesn't make sense to get a Mark II version. Trev says, to be honest, the OM5 Mark II is a fine camera. It's still a performer. The real problem is the naming. People are expecting more from the Mark II variant. Yet OM is recycling the old tag. It'll be better called OM5S. Yes. Actually, this exact same comment, and I can get my friend to verify this, Mati Sulanto and I had a conversation in our text. This is exactly what I said. If OM system did not use Mark II, if they have said, and I said this exactly, OM5S, if they have said this is an OM5S, a variant of the original OM5, just some updates to keep it more in line with the current camera, same menu system, USB-C port, I think that would have been better received. Because when they put Mark II at the end, based on the history of Olympus, from OM5 to OM5 Mark II, from OM1 to OM1 Mark II, there's like a lot of updates, right? A lot of changes, a lot of improvements. If they don't attach the Mark II to the OM5, I think a lot of things would have been easily forgiven. You are right. I 100% agree with you, Trev. I appreciate this. And because of that, let me see if I can find you. Can I? I can't do it here. Okay, let me see. I can't find. I can't find your chat on the original panel. But never mind. I want to pin your comment because I 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. Let me see if I can find a quick search. Let me see. Trev. You have multiple same comments. Never mind, I'll just put this here. I'll pin your message. I agree with your message here. So I've pinned your other message here. So there you go. Jordan says, Harwin, I think all Micro Four Thirds focus has been an OM and they are releasing cameras this year. Panasonic, on the other hand, has made most advanced tech in the G9 Mark II and they are not releasing Micro Four Thirds camera. And that's a mistake because G9 Mark II is not going to make them a lot of money. They need low-level cameras, which will bring in more sales and more profit. And what kind of business you're making if you don't want to make profit? Makes no sense, right? Pearson says, Nikon Z5 II at Formula 1 is pretty good for bird videos. It is. And I've been talking about this for many times already. Like, the bird detection thing, yes, OM Systems started it and they were doing really well, but everyone else has bird detection already. Canon, Nikon, Sony, Fuji, everyone has bird detection, and their bird detection is doing pretty solid. Yeah, so it's no longer a unique feature for OM system anymore. Tomato says for the price, OM5 Mark II is not a bad value. You still get 5-axis image stabilization, dust and splash weather sealing. Yes, that's why I said for a well-rounded camera, for small package, you want a small camera that does really well. I think OM5 Mark II is still a great camera. It's still a great option out there. Yeah, definitely, I agree with you. Okay, where were we? Roger says, speaking of flash, that is one area of instruction I need more of. But then flash photography has sort of like, in terms of interest, has like died down over the years because all the cameras are capable of shooting very high ISO, so people don't really need flash anymore. Piston says, the lens though, 100 to 400 ZS. All right, all right. Since that says the flash news was bad news. I love the small one for the OM5. It's quite usable as is. And the combo with my bigger flashes is marvelous. I know, right? I wish it's still compatible with the FLM3. Jordan says, I want to see the G9 Mark II and the GX9 or GX8 body that would force OM to be competitive with small cameras again. Yes, I know, right? And like, nobody wants, not to say nobody, not everyone wants a huge camera, and not everyone wants a flagship camera. You get what I mean? It's like, that's why I know there's a market for the OM5 Mark II, and I know the camera will sell very well. Although we know that OM1 and OM Mark II will be great, people think that it's better in terms of specs, latest and greatest. Of course, if you're a professional camera, dual cut slots and everything, magnesium alloy body. But there is a place for smaller camera bodies and cheaper price cameras, definitely. Prison says, it makes my OG Z6 look good. Malcolm says, hi Robin, what do you think of the vulnerability software support? Vulnerability? And dates shown in OM system specifications. I am not aware of this. What vulnerability software support? I have no idea what this is. Quick Servant says, wow, that little flash lives on my OM5 or EM5 Mark III, not OM5 Mark II for me. OM has just sucked more and more. I know, right? Like, why? And if they say, okay, we are discontinue this FLM3, it was Olympus product. Moving forward, we don't want this anymore. OM Mark II doesn't have it. OM3 doesn't have it. Okay, fine, I can understand. But then they just launched OM3 like a few months ago, and it has a support for this FLOM3 flash, right? Like, why remove it from OM5 Mark II since your OM5 has the support for it, right? It just doesn't make sense. Zoltan says, hi Robin, hello everyone from Maryland, let's do this. Yes, let's do this, Zoltan, nice to see you here. Wolfie says, almost every brand's lowest and mirrorless camera already has subject detection, human and birds and animal. What the hell, OM digital solution? I know, right? Like, that's the least they can do, right? Wolfie says, I feel even more relieved that I bought a used Z6 after I saw the rumors instead of the OM5 Mark II and even the older EM5 Mark III. Half the price of the OM5 Mark II and better autofocus and image quality. Yeah, image quality, no doubt. Full frame will definitely be better. Autofocus in the Z6, I don't know. I remember when it first came out, it was horrible. It was unbearably slow. Of course, they have a lot of multiple firmware upgrades to improve the autofocus performance, and I haven't tried the newer autofocus after the firmware updates, so I'm sure they're improved. George says, why do we need this when we have an OM3? Because OM3 is huge. Jolie says, hi Robin, greetings from Spain. And also, OM3 is freaking expensive. Maurice says, do you think that the flash issue could be fixed with? No. I'm sure there are some connector pins that have been removed. It's hardware, not software. Wolfie says, I was hoping for a companion for the OM1 with small primes to photograph my dog running and playing without the dogs, but no subject detection. I know, right? Yeah. But Yu says, the color is fine, but I'm not really into the design. Hope OM can make new Pan F and Panasonic make new GM series. Yeah. Well, in terms of Pan, it's pretty obvious that they've made an official statement saying that we don't know what we're doing. We have no plans for the Pan. So I'm not going to expect any new Pan cameras coming out from OM system anytime soon. Maybe in 2 or 3 years. Maybe, right? Panasonic, pretty much every time someone mentions on the GM line, they get really, really angry. Like, this happened to Emily, this happened to me. Like, I got a very, very angry email from Panasonic marketing. So I guess they're like saying, please stop talking about the GM series camera. Jolly says, I have an EM10 Mark IV, fairly new to photography. Do you think that OM5 is a good upgrade bearing in mind price specs? Yes, I think OM5 is a huge upgrade compared to the EM10. If you still want a small form factor, if you want bigger camera, if you don't mind a bigger camera, if you need the magnesium alloy build with dual cut slots, then go for the EM1 or OM1 series. But if you want small camera, as small as the EM10, then OM5 is a logical update. You get wider ceiling, which the EM10 doesn't have. You get better image quality, new sensor. I know the EM10 Mark IV has 20 megapixels, but it's not the same image sensor as the one in the EM5 or the OM5 camera. It has face detection autofocus for better autofocus overall. You have better image stabilization. Overall, you have better computational features as well, like Pro Capture Mode, handheld higher shot, and all, Live ND and all the other good stuff, which the EM10 Mark IV does not have. Yeah. Hey Pete, how are you? Nice to see you, Pete. Nick says, did we also lose the compatibility with command grip? Yes, not command grip, but the external grip, right? It seems to be missing from the smart contacts, though it's hard to find images of the bottom base plate. Yeah, you can't attach that external grip anymore, unfortunately. Yeah, let me see if we have members comment. Nope, we don't have any members comment. We are catching up with the comment. We are a little bit behind. It's almost midnight. We still have 177 people watching. That's crazy. Car says, I would buy that beige color in a heartbeat. It would stand out in my camera collection. Might be too early for making this collectible though. Just for collection, right? Why not? It looks really cool. Pete says, the new OM5 beige reminds me of Walt's car in Breaking Bad. I did not watch Breaking Bad, but I know that a lot of people say it's a great show. I should start watching it when I have the time. That's the problem. Like, how do I find time? Zoltan says, Robin is a beige color. Looks like the champagne color for stylish people, but for ladies. But frankly, I love the look of it. But I think it's more like the camo look for the camouflage for outdoor. Like if you're wearing the sand, I don't know, the brownish camo outfit, that will actually fit those theme very well. John, you guys are 20 each other, no worries. Banyu says, if they can make it 999 or around 4,300, I think it will have a chance to be a bestseller. But of course, they go with Fujiware increase. They did not increase the price though. They actually decreased the price. The price is actually lower than the original OM5. And at this moment, there's nothing like OM5 in the market or OM5 Mark II. Small size, weather sealed, has 5-axis image stabilization, has all the computational features like handheld higher shot, live ND, pro capture mode. Yeah, I think as an overall package for an outdoor adventure that is really small and yet very capable with face detection autofocus, I think the OM5 Mark II is very unique. The closest I can think coming from Fuji is XT50, which is like way more expensive than, even ST50 is not weather sealed, right? SE5, ST50, they are not weather sealed. So they are way more expensive than OM5 Mark II, but and they're not weather sealed. So yeah, Wolfie says, I love the beige color and I would like one just on that, but not to the price and not now. Maybe in 5 years when they come out with the OM5 Mark IV with the new rubber dials and the only new feature. I don't know what will happen in the future. Hey, we just have to wait and see. Jordan says, I think you get the beige camera when you must have a black lens. Yes, I agree. Wolfie says, Robin, I'll do the ViewTrox 28 f4.5. I can't wait to try it for street photography. And the TTS75 f2 for the Z6. I'm so excited. Oh, I'm sure you're gonna love the 75 f2. It's a fantastic lens. I love it so much. Dave says, hi Robin, Nikon flashes like SB900, 910 and older are not fully compatible with Nikon Z cameras. F assistant lighting and CLS mode triggering doesn't work anymore. But the FLM3 camera flash is compatible with all the new cameras. The latest cameras from OS system, which is the OM1 Mark II, is compatible with FLM3. The latest camera, OM3, which is just launched 3 months ago, is fully compatible with the OM3 and FLM3, right? And the original OM5, which is the predecessor to the OM5 Mark II, is compatible with FLM3. So why do they remove it? It doesn't make sense. And your SB900, which year was that? Nikon SB900 flash release date. It was launched in 2008. So Nikon Z6 was launched. I think it's 2019, if I'm not wrong, 18. 2018. So it's been 10 years. It's fair that they say, okay, you need to buy a new flash, right? It's 10 years, right? So there's like a long gap. So it makes no sense. Yeah. Kevin says, out of interest, has anyone tried skins to change the color of the camera? I've done skins on Mac Air, but never on a camera. You guys can talk to each other. I've never tried it myself. Zach says, I would totally rock the beige camera with silver lens. That will be very daring, very interesting as well. Paul says, can I get the I Should Raw t-shirt in your merch store? I Should Raw? I think that's Mati Sulanto, right? I don't have that shirt. I think you're confusing me with another creator. That's Mati Sulanto. I don't have that shirt. Jackie says, guess my chat kena makan. Always keep doing what you love. That's how Robin stayed true to himself. I just read your chat. Yeah, I read your chat, Jackie. Didn't kena makan. QRB says, what is the difference between OMD and OM? OMD means, OMD was during Olympus time, right? So I actually made a video about this. Let me just find it for you to save time because we are way behind chat. It's already past midnight. Robin Wong. Or I just go to my own channel. Why do I go there? Okay. Share. So if you're interested, keep. What is OMD? This is the video. Go to this video. You can watch it later after this stream. Alright. What is OMD? Okay, we have a members chat. Andrew says, I just wait for the price drop in a year or two. That's a wise decision. Never buy a camera completely new because it's going to be really expensive. I agree with that. This is a smart move. It's a very smart move. SC Photography says, I love the OM3 as a fun throw in the back camera. The design is amazing, appealing to new photographers. Obviously, the OM5 were the previous flagships smaller. OM3 is a fun design. Yeah, I'm sure, right? It's because, yeah. But the OM3 is not that small, though. I think the OM5 is smaller. For me, I'll take the smaller camera, of course. Crispy says, OM5 Mark II is fine, OM3 is fine, but the next camera has to be a real revolution with new features. I guess that will be the new flagship, right? The OM1 Mark III. Yeah. You guys are talking to each other, no worries. Fazik says, I feel... Faik, sorry. Why did I say Fazik? Faik says, I feel like the Micro Four Thirds just straight up loses if it's nearly the same size and feature as a PSC. No. It's not the same size and feature, right? For example, if you compare the OM5 Mark II versus the Z52, the OM5 has weather sealing. The Z52 doesn't have it. And the OM5 Mark II has 5-axis image stabilization. The Z52 doesn't have it. If you compare it against Nikon, Canon R10, R50, again, the OM5 has weather sealing and 5-axis image stabilization that the Canon doesn't have. Sony is also not weather seal, right? A6700, maybe it is weather seal. I'm so out of touch with Sony A6700 weather seal. Yes, Sony is weather sealed. So I guess it's very close to Sony, but then Sony A6700, the image, does it have image stabilization? If it has, it's just horrible. Yeah, so it has image stabilization, but it's nowhere near as good as the OM5's image stabilization in terms of competition and features like hand-held shot, pro capture mode, focus stacking, live ND. Yeah, the Sony doesn't have it. So you still have a lot of advantages if you go to the OM5 Mark II. Yeah, I don't dismiss it too quickly. It's really small, but it has a lot of features. It's so feature packed. Yeah. For Tess says, love the features of the OM5 Mark II, especially weather sealing and image stabilization. Wish it had a built-in flash and basic 10-bit video option. Removing support for the FLM3 flash is unfortunate. I know, right? That is unfortunate, really unfortunate. Yeah. Kara says, careful, a great full frame 50 lens is 2,500 euros. Jared says, I like this new beige color alternative. Someday I could buy one, but I'll use the EPL 8 as long as it's still working. That's a good decision. Use what you have. Don't always buy the latest and greatest camera. Yeah. Al SS says, making a hiking travel camera without a strong base plate support is crazy. I was waiting for that correction to buy the OM5 Mark II and enter the Micro Four Thirds world, but sorry, pass and move to Sony. Yeah. I just feel it's quite disappointing that they did not update or did not improve the base plate. They should have. Wolfie says, sometimes photography is about that dopamine rush of getting that creative shot where your brain thinks of a problem and solves it with one testing image. And I love the side of photography for myself. Yeah, it's like, just do what you love, right? Don't think about what other people think. And that's the mistake that I see a lot of people do. They shoot for other people. They shoot to make other people happy. They want other people's validation. But honestly, not many people really care about your photography. You should shoot for yourself first. If you make yourself happy, people can see that and they gravitate towards that, right? Yeah. Paul says, what's in that water? This water? Just water. It's just water. There's nothing in the water. It's clear water. filtered water, I guess, like through. Is it wrong to drink plain water? Wolfie says, I will have to look at the images after the stream. I'm out shooting macro with Z6 and the new Tamron 90 macro. Wow, you have the Tamron macro lens. Nice. Robin, most of the Nikon Z stuff I'm buying because your opinion helped me inform. One thing though, the Tamron macro may not get you close enough or may not have enough magnification. For macro, I still prefer to work with macro four thirds camera just because it has twice the magnification to start with before I add on like extension tubes or a macro lens, a close-up lens in front of it, right? Yeah. Paul says, what's in that coffee? This is Nescafe Gold. It's normal coffee. It's finished. Trev says, yep, I've already highlighted your comment already. Guys, if I don't read your comment, don't type it more than once. I will go to every single chat. Just be a little bit patient with me, right? Because if you type too many times the same comments, YouTube might detect that as a spam and you might get removed. This has happened before because there's like a spam detection built into the chat. Yeah. Paul says, I'm disappointed that OM has not improved the sensor. The GS8 from Panasonic has 20 megapixels and this year is still the same. I think for OM5, I'm not expecting them to put in a new image sensor because that's like currently the lowest level of all the OM cameras. We have the OM1, OM3, and OM5. If they were to put in a new sensor, it will be in the next OM1, the next flagship camera, right? It doesn't make sense for them to put in a new sensor in the OM5, which will then get better image quality than the flagship camera, which doesn't make sense because the flagship camera is a lot more expensive than the OM5, right? Yeah. But the 25 megapixel sensor is not really better than the 20 megapixel sensor anyway. That 5 megapixel sensor doesn't make any difference. I would rather have them have like a 30 megapixel or 40. I'm sure they can make it. No issue. As if photography says, it's not backlit though. So yeah, you talking about BSI, right? Adricus says, Adricus, I hope I pronounced your name right. OM Micro Four Thirds form factor is really appealing. Field system that can fit camera and a few primes in a hoodie. That's how you carry your cameras and lenses around? That's interesting. All right. Adrika says, one guy on our photo walk last Saturday got an OM5 because he found Fuji too expensive. Yes, Fuji is really expensive these days. I don't know what's wrong with them. Pearson says, NVIDIA autofocus for birds. Okay, everyone wants the reach of Micro Four Thirds. Okay. Ying says, an OM system representative told me at the Build Expo that they said there was a change on the circuit board on the Mark II, which is why the new UI can't be ported over to Mark I. Okay. But then again, when they make the Mark I, why didn't they put in a new menu system? That's the big question. It's not why it cannot be ported over. Why didn't they make the new menu system? Because the OM5 was launched after the OM1, not before. Right? So you're a new company. You have a new menu system. Why are you using the old menu system? Which doesn't make sense. Yeah. Site says, a color that pushed photography culture back to where it is. A color that pushed photography culture. You referring to the sand beige? How is the sand beige color related to a photography culture? I see no connection. X Miller says, wonder if they bring more colors like Pentax used. Nah, just one, right? Sand beige. I don't think they're gonna go crazy with all the colors. Armand says, I think the rumors of the Mark II having a stack sensor created disappointment. Not really, I don't think so. I never expected it to outperform OM1 or OM3, for example. Nevertheless, it's a great camera for the price, and the size and the weight are perfect. Yes, all around, it's still, the OM5 Mark II is still a great camera. August says, I did pick up the discounted OM5, and so far I've been very satisfied with it, having come from the GX85. The Panasonic 12-60 is my only lens at the moment, but I've got my sights on the 12-100 f4. Are you going to do something more specific, like pick up a long lens, or a macro lens, or the wide-angle lens, or the prime lens for bright aperture? I think those lenses are more exotic, right? I think the 12-60 is very, even the 12-100 is very vanilla, if you ask me. Gerald says, 40 megapixels is nice, but there's only a few lenses that render it correctly from my understanding. From my understanding, most of the premium, not the kit lens, but from Micro Four Thirds side, the premium lenses, the f1.8 primes, and the pro lenses can render up to 50 megapixels. For Micro Four Thirds side, I can't speak for Fuji. I have not enough experience with Fuji. Pearson says, Z5 II is very good has very good video autofocus. Okay, that's good. Gerald says the Kaka broken was a miss. Okay, I totally have no idea what you're talking about here. You lost me. Paul says, I like the fact that they did do color. How about lots of them? Let's not go crazy, right? Vibrant colors. Let's not go crazy. Esmina says, OM5 Mark III needed a quick renaming. We got OM5 needed USB-C to stay compliant, so we got OM5 Mark II. They could have just stayed with OM-S, as what Trev has suggested. Yeah, they should not have put it in a Mark II. They're just asking for trouble. Gordon says, compared to OM5, OM3 is a great camera, nice features, but smallish, but not small. OM5 or version 2 is a different type of camera. It's a different, yeah. I don't think we're going to get OM10. I don't know. If we get, it'll be good. I think we need something lower than $1,000 US, maybe like $899 or $999. That would be great at entry level. But at this point, I don't think we're going to get another camera. 3 cameras in 1 year? That will be really bold, and maybe they'll make it happen. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Adricus says, Robin, great content. What is the OM5? What in the OM5 makes you like the model? Do you find it good for any particular kind of photography? I've shared this already, right? You just missed the huge chunk of my sharing. Just a quick summary, because I can't go through the whole thing again. We are running a little bit late, and I still have a lot of comments to go through. I like that it's really small, so if you like a tiny camera, small footprint, really lightweight, especially if you do travel, if you do street photography, casual, everyday, bring around, you don't want to carry something big, you don't need it to be magnesium alloy built, you don't want the dual cut slots, you don't need the best of the best or the latest and greatest. The tiny package that OM5 brings still has very well-rounded features. It's weather sealed, it has 5-axis image stabilization, autofocus is great, it has face detection autofocus, image quality is still as good as the flagship today, it has all the computational photography needs like pro capture mode, it has live ND, it has handheld higher shot, focus stacking, all the best things about Micro Four Thirds. What makes Micro Four Thirds great, you can still find it in the OM5, you don't miss anything, right? So that's why it's still a great camera. And it's not too expensive. I think the pricing is just right. How Gil says, I wish I could afford this camera. Favorite brand, even as it is now, I will be happy with the OM5 Mark III. I think OM5 Mark III is great. If you can get the OM5 Mark III, why not? True Warrior says, as far as I know, the sensors for the Olympus OM system are made by Sony, so why would Sony provide them better higher resolution sensors? They will know the advantages of Micro Four Thirds. They will offer them one more. They'll make money. Imagine if OM system sold millions and millions of cameras, then Sony just profits, right? It's all about profit at the end of the day. I don't think they see Micro Four Thirds as a competition. Zotan says, you are right, Robin, and that viewer who called OM trash is a trash troll. We don't need negative comments here. Thank you. Yeah, I know, right? The person says, yeah, lugging my Nikon rig is not for the faint. You guys are talking to each other. No worries. I heard 5% of the production will be beige. Maybe. As Photography says, I was referring to your comment on PetaPixel. Ah, okay. Anto says, hi Robin, I'm a big fan. Thank you so much, Anto. I bought my first Olympus camera because of you. What are your thoughts on choosing between OM5 Mark II and OM1 Mark I? Greetings from Colombia. If you are a professional, if you're shooting in a serious environment, you need a camera to be the best of the best. You need a proper handling with dual cut slots. You need a magnesium alloy body, rugged build. Then OM1 is definitely for you. But if you are not using the camera in a serious environment, if you go for travel, you want something small and light, you need something that can fit in your bag better, a smaller bag, or everyday carry, or street photography camera. You don't want a big camera, and yet the camera can be still capable. It has image stabilization, it's weather sealed, it has some of the computational features like live ND, handheld higher shot, focus stacking, pro capture mode, and all the good stuff. Yeah, you are not missing out much on the OM5 Mark II, right? I still think the OM5 Mark II has a place, provided that you want the camera to be really small. That's the best I can think of. I hope that answers your question. Yella says, hey, I just wanted to check in and say I love your videos and your Insta is fantastic. Lovely shots. Thank you so much. I am not so active on Instagram. I don't even remember the last time I posted anything there, but just leave it there for whatever reasons. I try to stay away from social media as much as I can. Gerald says, does anyone think of the TG7 was the Mark II version of the TG6 now based on the OM5 hindsight? I think the problem with TG series is that the camera just sells. It just does so well. Like, they don't have to do anything. The camera just flies off the shelf. They don't have to market it. People will just buy it, right? It's just crazy. It's a different world altogether. It's popular among the diverse crowd. Wolfie says, I actually wanted and needed a compact and lightweight OM camera, but with subject detection and image stabilization. With one combo, they will switch me from Samsung NX500. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, I wish they've done a little bit more, right? Yeah. Atticus says, I used to have the OM5 Mark II. It's a bit noticeable difference from OM5. Big difference. I think the OM5 has face detection on the focus. The OM5 Mark II doesn't have. OM5 shoots 4K. OM5 Mark II doesn't have. OM5 can do like what you call that, percussion mode. Has better image stabilization. Overall, it's just a much superior camera in terms of image quality, in terms of autofocus, in terms of like feature-wise. Everything is improved from OM5 Mark II. Every single thing, right? Yeah. Except for the build quality, because the OM5 Mark II has better, sturdier tripod mount. Apparently, the OM5's tripod mount breaks off. I think that's the only problem. Zodan says, please don't forget to give Romin thumbs up. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Gerald says, Romin says, gets a thumbs up from my big family. Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate that. John says, both OM3 and OM5 Mark II are repackaged existing products. Is OM system even able to design new camera? I don't mind incremental progress if I know the platform has future. I think OM3 is not really a repackaged product. I think OM3 is a great product. It has a great design. And I've said this already, personal opinion, you don't have to agree with me. I think OM3 is beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful cameras that I've seen. And it's great that OM3 has OM1 Mark II's internals. It's like 99% OM1 Mark II. It's like a mini OM1 Mark II. I think it's great. It's like an OM1 Mark II in a different design, which is not a bad thing because not everyone wants that big black box, right? Not everyone wants that DSLR look because the DSLR look is very typical and to a point it's very boring. It's very safe, don't get me wrong, it looks professional, but it's very boring. So I think OM3 is great because it's the design itself sells. It's so beautiful, right? Yes, I agree OM5 Mark II is a repackage because technically it's the same design as the OM5, just a different grip, maybe some new color like the sand beige. I agree with that. It's 97% the same. That's why I've also mentioned that I wish they have done a little bit more, put a little bit more updates, improve a few more things like autofocus, subject detection. I wish they have done a little bit more. And if they don't, it's also fine because the price is great. I think the price is just right. I wish they have done something what Trev has mentioned, the pinned comment. They should have just said OM5S instead of OM5 Mark II because it hints that it's a new camera with new features and new updates, right? With improvements, but there's no improvements. Just minor improvements. It could have been an OM5S, yeah. Esmina says titanium OM5. They've had titanium OM5 Mark II. Search it up. Gerald says, yeah, the titanium version on MPV-1s almost made a bad financial decision. Chuck says, I kind of like to see an experimental camera like the SDK. What's the SDK? Let users write apps for the cameras. But that's the thing. It's for security reasons, right? Like, the next thing you know, your camera is going to connect to your phone and steal all your credit card informations. And I don't think they want this to happen, right? Yeah, Gerald says, really, the worst part of the release is worrying that OM is just in the market for the remaining money to be made and not to continue on the line of cameras. It's yet to be seen. I think currently, the biggest mistake, like what Trev has mentioned, is that it should not have labeled it Mark II. If they have labeled it OM5S, I think it would have been fine. And for what it is, OM5, OM5S, OM5 Mark II is still a valid product in the industry. It's very unique. Nothing from the APS-C or full-frame line has something like this, something truly small. It's weather-sealed, has fast image stabilization and all the computational features. Still a very unique product, right? So it still has a place in the market. Site says, to me, this new OM gives a new sense of fun instead of focus in other brand like back in the days where no option much at large. Yeah, I'm not so sure about the fun part, but as if photography says, agree with Trevor. Have said a few times it should have been OM5S, not OM5.2. OM5.2 and Mark II is the same, right? Dave says, it's impossible to satisfy everyone if they make OM5S when they say, where is the Mark II? In the future, right? Is yet to come. So at least they don't overpromise and don't deliver, right? And under-deliver, right? Yeah. Bruce says, OM5 Mark II is the only new release in 1000 range from 2024 without subject detection. I'm disappointed with OM5 Mark II, not worth the 3-year wait from OM5 Mark I, which itself is disappointing. I agree. In a way that they should have put in some sort of subject detection. Yeah, sorry I can't pronounce your name. Would OM5 Mark II make a good camera for a beginner coming from a phone? Yes, it would. Yes, it's plastic. Hey Ellen, how are you? And happy belated birthday, Ellen. Ellen is a friend from Kuching. Sorry, I just saw that I just realized it's your birthday. Scrolling through Facebook, I've been so busy in the past few days. Yeah, we'll catch up in July. I'm going back to Kuching in July, and we'll have a belated celebration. Site says, do you think a speed booster will work in this body? Why would anyone want to use speed booster? I don't understand. Voltaire says, at least for the flash situation, the Godox IT30 is compact with TTL, just not swiveling, not a replacement for the FLM3, but it's close. Is the Godox weather sealed? Because if it's not, then it's not even close, right? Sultan says, thank you for the answer, Robin. I have a look at the sand beige because it's different. No worries. I think it's very unique, right? If you like it, you like it. Let's look at the poll. What's the poll standing now? It's at 50% at yes, and we have 451 votes. Wow. Okay, that's something. That is something, right? Okay. Wolf says, I have most of my gear, cameras and lenses covered with vinyl skin, and they are awesome. They protect my gear from scratches and look better than boring black. Ah, that's very fun. That's very interesting. Pucho says, hello from New York. Hey Pucho, how are you? Nice to see you here. How do you compare the G85 to OM-5 Mark II? OM-5 Mark II? Why are we talking about OM-5 Mark II from 2014? Curious about your opinion for small and light micro four thirds camera with pro features. Thank you for great videos. No worries. I wouldn't look at any of these cameras. I think G85 is bad because it doesn't have it doesn't have face detection autofocus, so I wouldn't look into that. OM-5 Mark II is just too old. At least get the OM-5 Mark III. Wolfie says, I have actually on order blue hexagonal honeycomb for Nikon Z6 and Tamron 90 macro, cartoon graffiti skins for Vitrox 28 f4.5, 50 f2 air and the 75 f2 because they are fun lenses. How do you find the 50 f2? I think it's great, right? Jackie says, sorry, I saw my chat was missing. Probably too many chat and I got pushed out too missing. Enjoy your trip. Weekend. Thanks again for the lens. No worries, Jackie. And I hope you had a good shoot with the lens, with your project. Wolfie says, sorry, Sony has most features of the OM-5 Mark II 400 more. Incredibly fast autofocus and subject detection. But not really though. Like the A6700, I think it's really bad ergonomically. Autofocus is great, don't get me wrong. That's like the thing that Sony does best the most, right? Autofocus is great. Image stabilization, yeah, it's like no image stabilization at all. And if you're into all these computational features like focus stacking, handheld high-res shot, even just the tripod high-res shot, right? Or pro capture mode, like it's still missing from the A6700. Who says, outside of summer, I often keep my gear in the hoodie, front pocket. That's why I love Micro Four Thirds setup with OM1 and 100 to 400. You fit 100 to 400 in your hoodie? Wow, that is insane. Yeah. Dave says, some SB5000 users say that this particular flash has very poor build quality compared to the SB900 and it's actually Nissin with Nikon label. So Nikon says to me, don't play the fool, buy Godox. Go for Godox then. Lee says, the fun of using Micro Four Thirds is light and fun to play around with. I use it for my job without the need to worry about the weight of long hour shoots. Your video inspired me to shoot Micro Four Thirds. Yeah, if you want to go for like actual shoots for jobs, for example, if you're doing weddings or event coverage, yeah, I'll prefer camera that has proper gripping, like the traditional DSLR shape form factor, right? Like OM1 or EM1 Mark II. Yeah, I wouldn't use the OM5. Bill says, any experience of using OM5 or the latest Micro Four Thirds cameras with 4/3 lenses? Both OM Panasonic 4/3 lenses with OM adapter. I wouldn't use the 4/3 lenses because, first of all, those lenses are not designed for mirrorless and autofocus will not be as fast compared to the native Micro Four Thirds lenses, and the optics also, they are not optimized for use with Micro Four Thirds system. And these 4/3 lenses, if you already have them, use them. use them, right? If you already have them, because a lot of people come from the photos era. I myself come from photos era. I have a few photos lenses. I still use them from time to time. But if you are a micro photo shooter now looking for lenses, these photos lenses may not be cheap. It may be cheaper, but it's not worth it. I'll still recommend using native micro four thirds lenses. There are so many cheap lenses, like no point going for the older lenses. And they are so huge, like so huge and heavy, right? Pentagram says, hi Robin, hey, how are you? Nice to see you. I think the OM have two ways. They really watch the market and plan big things for 2026, like new sensor, new processor, or just delay as much as possible for the dev of the system. I hope the earlier is true. Jeff says, Robin, how much should I pay for a very well used and ding up Pen F but fully functional? I wouldn't. I have no love for Pen F. It's no secret, right? You don't see me do Pen F content on this channel. I will get EM1 or EM5 Mark II instead. Thomas says they could have added some easy features into the OM5 Mark II to make it a bit more enticing. I agree. Option for haptic feedback on electronic shutter or power switch on right, or automatic panorama stitching. Panorama stitching is just a gimmick. I can do that with any other software like Huggin, so I don't really care about in-camera stitching. Power switch on the right, you can do that. Do you realize that? You can just switch over like any of the new OM camera. You can switch the 1-2 switch. You can change it to a power switch. Just go into the settings, right? You should know this, right? Roger says, what auto prime or zoom pancake lens do you recommend for EM5 Mark III? On the zoom, what doesn't extend? Something close to 50 equivalent. 25 f1.8. It's not really a pancake. If you want pancake, then maybe at that range, 20 f1.7, which I don't really like. I talk about this, I don't like that lens. 25 f1.8. It's not a pancake lens. It's not huge. It's an amazing lens, which if you've seen the photographs I've shared in this earlier on, I just love the rendering of that lens. It's just so beautiful. Parina says, I don't really mind the sensor that much. It's just that compared to when the first EM5 came out, the camera exceeded everyone's expectations in every aspect. Dynamic range was greater than full frame. Yes. Actually, Micro Four Thirds image sensor is more than sufficient for everyone's needs. People just want more and more and more and more, right? Bigger, louder, stronger. Yeah. Yeah. You have the 25 f1.8, then that's an amazing lens, right? Why would you want anything better? Or you don't like that lens at all? Paul says that looks like the OM5 Mark II had to happen to meet the USB-C requirement, something different, and they reshaped the gift to give it a new menu and call it new. They don't have to call it new, right? They could have called it OM5S and people will be more forgiving. Thomas says, would love to see OM system add white balance adjustment across all white balance settings. I find colors a little bit too blue in auto white balance. Would be nice to add about 5 to 10% more warmth. You can do that with the customized ANG. Let me share my video. White balance trick for OM system camera. So yeah, sure. This is a short. So what you need to do is go to the A, which is amber. Just add plus 203. That should solve your problem, and you can refer it to this short. There you go. If you haven't seen this short, Thomas. Yeah. And that is only valid for auto white balance. The Great Vanzini says, good morning, Robin. Hey, how are you? OM5 Mark II arrives today. Congratulations. I hope you enjoy the camera. Is it the sand beige color? Perrier says, for me, the letdowns are the absence of subject detection. Yes, I agree. Plastic, nah. Here's the thing, right? Like, I'm an engineer. I said it so many times. I'm just going to say it again. I wear plastic safety helmets. I don't go around and complain, hey, this plastic safety helmet is not good enough. I want a metal one. Like, I don't do that, right? Nobody does that. So if plastic is strong enough to protect my head, then why should I complain about a plastic camera? Makes no sense. Roger says, as have been previously stated by others and you, OM needs to keep the pen compact camera line going. Yes, I agree. But unfortunately, I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Jerome says, screw all this engineering naming conventions. They should just call it OM5 Type C. All right. Hey, Rob. How are you? Rob Trace in the house. Rob says, hi, Robin. Just got back from shuttle therapy. I hope you have a good one. I'm pretty sure I'm getting the new OM5 Mark II. Love the sand color. It's very vanity purchase like the Pan F was. I think you're going to enjoy it. Pretty much, I think there's a place for OM5 line of camera. Something truly small. Very compact, yet it has amazing image stabilization. It's weather sealed. It has all the good stuff, like all the computational features. It's not as good as OM1. I mean, if you want the best of the best, then go for the OM1, OM1 Mark II, right? Yeah, and for that price, you get a lot out of the camera. Yeah. Site says, I'm just curious, since I'm using a speed booster for GH4. My goodness, that is a monstrous lens. Why would I want to use an f4 lens on GH4? I'll use all the f1.8 primes. I have amazing f1.8 primes. And all these primes are cheaper than the 24-105. Yeah. Who says, one advantage of being a big guy with a 4XL hoodie, I'm ready for macro, wildlife, and portrait in my pockets. Rob says, come to think of it, my OM3 was a vanity purchase, so OM1 is a better camera for the same price. But the OM3 is so nice though. I mean, the design is so beautiful. Like, I can totally understand why you bought it. Roger says, Robin, when out doing your shuttle photography, your street photography with 25 f1.8, what f-stop are you using mostly? I change it all the time. Like, people keep asking me, what is this? There's no fixed setting, right? What's the shutter speed? What's the ISO? I change it all the time. So, okay, let's go back to the photo sharing. Like, if I want to get everything clear, I'll shoot at f4, f5.6, right? Like, if I were to do like this, f4, f5.6, if I were to get, like, I know I'm going to do a close-up portrait, f1.8, so I can blur the background, right? Like, this is f1.8, so I can get the nice blur background. Like, this is maybe f2.8 or f3.5, I can't remember. So I can see not just the person, but the background as well, as much as I can. Like, this one, I want to see everything, so it's f4, f5.6, right? This maybe f4, f5.6. This definitely f1.8. And if I really care about sharpness at this point, if I will get this portrait, if I know that the background is not distracting, but this is f1.8. I'm just saying, if I know that the background is not distracting, I'll maybe go for f2.8 just to get as more depth of field. This is f1.8. This maybe f3.5, f4. This maybe f5, 5.6 because I want to see all the way to the background. You can see the depth of field is really... So the idea of controlling the f number is you're controlling the depth of field, right? If you want everything in focus, then shoot f4, f1.6. But if you want as much shallow depth of field as possible, if you want more blur, then f1.8. Like my portraits, close-up portraits is all f1.8. Yeah. Okay. Andrew says, real hot topic tonight will be, deal with forgetting to acknowledge about the kueh baku. Yeah. Well, Rippy was complaining that it's all air. It's really expensive, right? Tomato says, I only wear titanium honeycomb safety helmets. Really? Nobody uses that in the construction site. Uvi says, Robin, Sigma launched the 7840 f1.8 for mirrorless APS-C that is smaller, lighter, and more range. Legendary 18 to 35 f2. If Sigma can do that, what the hell is on Digital Solutions? Why no 1435 f2? Yeah, I know, right? It seems like the games of the lens technology and expertise is changing. Like, there was a point where Micro Four Thirds was ahead of its curve. It was Micro Four Thirds who introduced the telecentric optical design, but it's copied by everyone now. And it's Micro Four Thirds who push for, like, you know, they really push a lot of boundaries. They introduced, like, dual aspherical design, for example, for the ultra wide angle lens, which is copied by everyone. They introduced a lot of technology, which is really cool. But yeah, now it's just, they are a little bit behind, which is kind of sad to witness. Yeah. Sisters McMaster says, Robin, I found that the OM5 Mark II has a slightly altered grip that makes it much more secure than OM5 1 without the latest accessory grip. Keeps the overall package lighter. I think it's very similar to what the EM10 Mark IV is doing, right? There's like a ridge, there's like a small bump in front of the grip. Yeah. Rob says, but I think the OM5 Mark II is still a great camera at its price. Would recommend it to anyone that is primarily doing photography. Subject edition would be nice, but not really necessary. The issue is that everyone, by saying everyone, I'm saying like Sony, Canon, Nikon, Fuji, right? Everyone with the cameras below $1,000 price point has some kind of subject detection, right? Nikon Z52, Nikon Z30, Fuji, okay, maybe not Fuji. Fuji is the exception because editing Fuji is so expensive these days. So maybe not Fuji, right? Fuji is the exception. Like Canon R10, R50, you know, like Sony, even Sony's cheaper, like ZV series, ZV-1, for example, has like subject detection, right? The human face and eye autofocus. So having said that, everyone has it. Like, why can't OM system put it in? If it's true everyone can do it, then you are missing out, right? So that's like the biggest complaint. Yeah. Zach says, wait, the FLM3 is weather seal? Yes, it is. I've been using it for 10 years and I'm just now finding this out. You guys have missed out a lot of my videos. I've talked about this before. Okay, let me find my video on a flash. I love that tiny thing, man. It's so awesome. Yeah. Want to see me splash water on it? Okay. Olympus FLM3 flash. There you go. Go and see me splash water in that video later after this stream. Oh wow! Congratulations! I guess you have like the limited edition, right? Which might increase in value over time. Ultimate says Olympus needs to do more in general. Well, Olympus is gone. There's no more Olympus. Rob Track says, all that said, if people don't care about the sand color, the OM5 is currently $300 less. It should get that interest instead. Yeah, that's true. Or the OM5 Mark III, right? I think these are still great cameras. OM5 Mark III is even closer to the OM5 if you really think about it. You get newer features in the OM5 Mark II. You have USB-C, you have new menu, right? But the OM5 is like 99% the same as the OM5 Mark III. Yeah. Thomas says, the AG option don't fix the white balance though. Adding more A turns the photo a bit more red rather than warm white. Okay, I understand what you're saying. Wolf says, the second reason I was convinced to get a Z6 is the new Samyang 14-24 f2.8 and 77 filter thread. Weather resistant, only 44 grams? Really? Okay. Your message is not complete. I'll just wait for it. Site says, yeah, true. We'll see you come to KK soon to show you my monstrous setup. Okay. OM Solutions doesn't have the f2.8 ultra wide with filter thread for landscapes. So much innovation and lenses that I want comes out to everyone by Micro Four Thirds. Yeah, it seems like Micro Four Thirds is really losing out when it comes to newer lens design in the last 5 years or 6 years or so. Yeah, it's not surprising, right? Olympus died. So move on to OM Solutions. In that transition, until now, you don't really see any new lens technology. Even towards the end of Olympus era, there's not much new technology. Yeah, even Panasonic is not really pushing much because Panasonic is like focusing the effort and R&D and resources in full frame, right? Panasonic L Alliance. All right, that's it. I think I've called the comment. We have an extra long stream tonight. It is 20 minutes to 1. It's really late and I have to wake up early tomorrow to go to Fraser's Hill for the bird race thing. And I'm following the OM system team and hopefully they have the OM5 Mark II for me to play during that trip. I need to go now. I really have to go. I need to get my sleep because it is 12:40. I need to dismantle my stuff, this setup. It will take another 5 to 10 minutes. I need to eat something because I get so hungry after 3 hours of live stream. And I have to shower because I'm all sweaty. I have to wait for my body to dry. And by the time I sleep, it will be like 2 or 2:30 in the morning. I have to wake up at like 7 later. So I only have like less than 5 or 6 hours of sleep. So I have to go. Thank you so much for staying till the end. We still have how many people now, which is amazing. 140 people watching, which is amazing. Thanks for being here. I hope you have enjoyed the stream. I have enjoyed chatting with you guys. Thanks for your input. Thanks for the votes on the poll. How many people we have? The final tally is 471 votes. I think I'm going to end the poll now. That's amazing. All right. And yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you guys next week. Until then, please go out and take more photographs. Bye-bye.